Well, good evening, everyone. It is 1 minute to 6 o'clock on Wednesday, December 16th, the last Planning Commission meeting of the year, and I'd like to welcome you all here. Let's wait 1 minute and then we'll take roll. Okay, can the secretary please take roll?
Commissioner Hardy?
Present, thank you.
Commissioner Kreiner? Commissioner McKenzie?
Here.
Commissioner Vang?
Here.
Commissioner Diaz? Commissioner Sodi Lang?
Yes, present.
And Chair Bray.
Here. So it looks like we have a quorum, so let's do the Pledge of Allegiance now. Okay, ready, salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America
and to the
the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So I'll read the procedures now. While emergency order number 2020-12 is in effect, the City of Fresno public meetings will be conducted electronically and telephonically only. As such, this meeting is being conducted electronically and telephonically. The public may participate in tonight's meeting by using the Zoom link or calling the phone number provided on the Planning Commission agenda. Please note that all participants will be on mute until they are called upon by the chair, at which point they will be unmuted. And I will remind you, you have 3 minutes for each person, which I will try to time. If you are a member of the public and would like to comment on an item, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, or if you're calling in, dial *9. To avoid confusion, please wait for the item you desire to comment on to be called on by the chair before electronically raising your hand or dialing *9. Additionally, please listen when we say if you're in opposition, that's when you should speak, and when you're in favor, that's when you should speak. For each matter considered by the commission, there will be a staff presentation followed by a presentation from the project applicant. Testimony from supporters of the project will then be taken, followed by testimony from those in opposition. The applicant will have the right to a final rebuttal presentation prior to the closing of the public hearing. In accordance with Section 13 of Article 2 of the Planning Commission Rules and Regulations governing the length of public debate, all public testimony from those in support and in opposition of the project will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Any testimony that references race, religion, ethnicity, economic status, national origin, or any other classification protected under state or federal law in a derogatory manner shall be deemed irrelevant and will not be considered by the commission in making this land use determination. If you challenge these land use matters in court, you may be limited to only raising those issues you or someone else raised in oral or written testimony or before the close of the hearing. So we'll start the meeting with the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Chair Bray, staff has no changes at this time.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Monica, seconded by Brad. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Vang,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
Commissioner Sodi Lane,
Yes.
and Chair Bray.
Yes, so the motion passes. Are there any reports by commissioners? Yeah, I would like to thank the commissioners. This is our last meeting of the year. So thank you for your hard work and long hours that you spend, and more so the staff for all the time that they put into all the matters that we consider. So I just want to thank you all for continuing to do this. So on new
Thank you.
matters, you're welcome. I meant you, Brad, for sure. So new matters, we're going to move on to ID 20-001700, consideration of conditional use permit application number P20-00902. So can we have the staff presentation, please?
Kathy, it's Raj.
Yes, ma'am.
So before we go there, I did want to let everyone know that Mr. Asemi contacted me probably 2 months ago to share highlights of the project. And then as a resident, I also received in the mail this week, as did everyone in my neighborhood. It's called Big News is just around the corner at Copper River. I don't live at Copper River. I live at Woodward Lake, but I did receive it at my home.
Okay, well, thank you for that disclosure. I appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start my screen sharing. Can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Jose Valenzuela, and I'm with the Planning and Development Department. Tonight, you will be considering the subject conditional use permit application and the related environmental assessment. The subject conditional use permit requests authorization to construct a 3,100 square foot convenience store with a 4 dispenser 8 station fuel canopy, a 3,000 square foot retail building with a drive-through, and 3 general retail and office buildings with a total of 23,400 square feet. The planning and development director approved the project on September 25th and was later appealed by the Fresno Healthy Neighborhood Alliance on October 12th. Some general information about this site. The subject site consists of approximately 4.13 acres of vacant land and is located on the northwest corner of East Copper and North Maple Avenues. The project site is surrounded to the east by general retail uses. Properties to the south consist of single-family residences. To the west lies a PG&E substation, and to the north you have vacant land zoned for commercial. So you can see here. Here you can see a site plan of all buildings proposed. The subject project was routed to the Department of Public Works, Department of Public Utilities, Fresno Fire Department, Police Department, Planning and Development, Pacific Gas and Electric Company, the Fresno Irrigation District, Fresno Metropolitan Flood Control District, County of Fresno Department of Public Health. All comments received from the applicable agencies have been incorporated into the conditions of approval for the project. The project will comply with all zoning requirements, including setbacks, landscaping, design, and parking requirements. During the director review phase, the Council District 6 Project Review Committee recommended approval of this project on May 18th. A notice of intent of the director's decision was mailed out to surrounding property owners on July 7th. Substantial letters of opposition were received and some in support. They are all attached to the public record. After action was taken on September 25th, the Fresno Healthy Neighborhood Alliance submitted a timely appeal of the approval and is now being brought to you tonight. The applicant provided a response to the neighborhood's concerns and is available as Exhibit J in staff's report. Additional letters of opposition and in support were attached to staff's report and onto this record. Planning staff reviewed the project in accordance with the Community Commercial Zone District, Section 15-1201, the service station and drive-through requirements sections of the municipal code, with planning's review and all other agency comments incorporated into the conditions of approval. Staff was able to determine that the proposed project meets the findings listed on your screen for a conditional use permit. The uses proposed are permitted by right, subject to a conditional use permit, and are consistent with the general plan and zone district. The proposed uses will not be substantially adverse to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. As stated before, the proposed project has been adequately reviewed by all departments and agencies for compliance with applicable regulations and requirements, and have been included in the conditions of approval, which will minimize or eliminate any substantial adverse impacts to the health, safety, and general welfare of the surrounding community. Those can be found in Exhibit N. The design, location, size, and operating characteristics of the proposed uses will be consistent with those uses permitted in the CC Community Commercial Zone District and will be conditioned to comply with the drive-through and service station regulations. The site is physically suitable for the type, density, and intensity of use of the uses being proposed, including access, emergency access, utilities, and services required. The project has a floor area ratio of 0.16, which is a total gross commercial floor area divided by the site area, therefore meeting the intensity requirements. As stated before, the proposed uses are located in an area designed for commercial. The project will have adequate site and emergency vehicle access. Improvements include on and off-site utilities and are listed in the conditions of approval. The project is not located within an area of influence of air traffic safety zones listed in the Fresno County Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. Therefore, it is consistent with the Airport Land Use Compatibility Plan. A determination of a Class 32 categorical exemption was made for the subject property. The listed findings are specifically addressed in staff's report. Again, the project is consistent with the applicable general plan designation in all general plan policies and zoning designations. The proposed development occurs within city limits on a site of no more than 5 acres and is substantially surrounded by urban uses. The project has no value as habitat for endangered, rare, or threatened species. Approval of the project will not result in any significant effects related to traffic, noise, air quality, or water quality. The site can be adequately served by all required utilities and public services. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission deny the appeal and uphold the director's decision to approve the subject conditional use permit application and approve the related environmental assessment. This concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Do any commissioners have questions for Jose?
I'd like to ask a question. Jose, so, and I just got my packet today, by the way, which was unusual. Can you help me to understand the history then, if the director approved it or this on 9/25, September 25th of this year, why is the director now looking to deny the request?
No, the approval, the director's approval was appealed by the Fresno Healthy Neighborhood Alliance.
Yeah.
So we're recommending denial of that appeal of the approval, if that makes sense. Raj?
Commissioner Sodi Lane. So the denial is of the appeal, and it says uphold the action of the director. So there was a yes by the director, and then somebody appealed it, and so you are denying the appeal and upholding the yes. That is the request or the recommendation.
Makes sense. Okay,
You're
I was a bit confused there. Okay,
It's written confusingly, I know.
thank you so much.
Hey,
Are there any other questions for Jose?
I have a question. Jose, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you first for the presentation. My question is going to be with the project, is the project required to hold any community meetings? And if so, how many?
Not for this conditional use permit. However, a notice was sent out for community input.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any further questions? Okay, so I'd like to invite the applicant to present.
Jose, who's the applicant? I've got a Jake Tracy with the hand up.
No, it's I'm not familiar with the name. It's Darius Asimi.
Hi, Chair. This is Brad. I had one question for staff.
Okay, let's do that.
So does this also include sales of beer and alcohol, or is this just for the store and the gas station?
No alcohol sales are proposed.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Could the applicant and the applicant only please raise their hands so I can call on you? Jake is the only one with his hand up, so.
Which way?
Jake, are you the applicant?
No. Okay. Good evening. Actually, Jake, I'm using one of my staff's laptop. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Great. Okay. This is good. Okay. First of all, can I share my screen?
And can you state your name? I didn't hear.
I'm sorry. Yes. This is good evening, Chair Bray. This is Darius Asemi with Granville Homes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Darius, you should be promoted to a panelist now, able to share your screen. You're going to have to unmute yourself, Darius.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me and can you see my
Yes.
screen?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Good evening, Chair Bray, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Darius Asemi, and I'm the president of Granville Homes, 1396 West Herndon in Fresno, California. For the record, I concur with staff recommendations and urge you to deny the appeal and approve this project. Copper River's land entitlements were approved in 2003 by the Planning Commission and Fresno City Council. We were asked by the city to create a complete master plan community with a variety of housing products and different price ranges, and to include neighborhood commercial and office and retail, all connected with a series of trails spanning over 8 miles and including over 20 acres of parks. As you can see from this map, all the commercial development was placed on Copper Avenue. Again, the commercial being the blue color. Because of the ease of access to other residential developments to the south, and also because Copper River Ranch is at the very north edge of our city. The commercial development in the center of Copper River is, of course, the Copper River Country Club and the clubhouse. These are the amenities we promised our homeowners in the nearly 2 decades since we began planning this community. We promised them a walkable community. We promised those that chose not to join the Copper River Country Club that there will be other amenities for them and their families. We promised the sons and daughters of our homeowners there will be places they could ride their bicycles and grab some fresh produce or an ice cream cone and a meal. And these promises we intend to keep. The project before you tonight is located at the northwest corner of Copper and Maple Avenues. It is called Copper River Marketplace. This is an infill development which, as part of the Copper River Master Plan, was zoned for commercial use and approved in 2003. I'm not changing the land use or asking for a rezone. Let me repeat that. I'm not asking for a plan amendment or a rezone. I'm simply asking to move forward with a project that complies with the land use designations and that we've been promising our homeowners for years. Our marketing materials from as far back as 2006 show the site plan for a commercial complex at this location, including a fuel station, which was always intended to be developed once we had enough residents in the area to support such a project. A fuel station that would obstruct the view of the unsightly PG&E station to the west of the property. And now is the time for us to deliver on that promise. It is also worthy to note for this commission that the original owner of this property had an approved CUP number 09023 that included a gas station and a car wash. Again, that was back in 2009. Our project is no different than any other neighborhood market with a low volume fuel station, except that it will be built with Granville architecture and to Granville standards, with a cohesive connection to what is already there. We must follow all the rules of the state and local municipalities and industry standards, period. These projects get built next to residential. This project also pays $700,000 in fees to the city of Fresno. Copper River Marketplace is personal to me. We have built over 800 homes here, and we plan on building another 500 in the coming years, including my personal residence. We are also relocating the Granville corporate office to across the street from the side of Copper River Marketplace. As you can see on your screen, my new office, Granville's corporate office, will be stone throw away from this property. And this is why I purchased this property 18 months ago, because I made a promise to deliver this high quality marketplace to Copper River Ranch. I understood that if I didn't buy this property, somebody else would have, and that we would not have been able to ensure that the project, the architecture, and the offered amenities would be suitable for Copper River Ranch. Here's what the site looks like today and what it will look like once we're done building this small boutique plaza. And this is a view from the east end looking west. This project will also reduce VMT at full build out by creating a walkable shopping and dining experience connected to homes via the network of trails, more than 8 miles of trails at Copper River and the sidewalks on the south side of Copper Avenue. Our project, which is a small plaza, is designed to serve the immediate local neighborhood. It is not a regional shopping center. This planning commission approved the state mandated VMT regulations earlier this year, and this project will help fulfill that legislation by reducing automobile trips generated from this area. Our project also complies with the City of Fresno general plan. We have sent multiple surveys to our homeowners in the area, asking what services they would like to see. More than 60% of the respondents asked for a grocery store or a neighborhood market as their top choice, followed by restaurants, a coffee shop, and a fuel station. Building the market and the fuel station, along with the restaurants, will provide the services the neighborhood wants. Every shopping center has an anchor, and this market, plus the 4 dispenser fuel station, is the anchor. It does not work without the anchor. Let me repeat, the shopping center does not work without the market, and the market cannot work without the 4 dispenser fuel station. An example of this is the Lassen's grocery store we recently lost and closed down in the shopping center at Fort Washington. We also took the time to show what the outside and inside of the local market could look like. And here are those renderings. I have done extensive outreach to the neighbors, both at Copper River and the areas directly to the south and east of the project. We have sent emails, multiple pieces of direct mail, posted updates on Nextdoor and various social media platforms, and set up a dedicated website to keep our community up to date with the latest news about the project. Throughout the process, we have welcomed our neighbors' input because we care about what they want. I have held Zoom meetings with neighbors in Copper River Ranch, Opus One, and surrounding communities. In fact, I have had over 10 of them. I've listened to the issues and concerns of those who oppose the project, welcomed the support of those who are in favor of the project, and encouraged feedback from homeowners on both sides. I've compromised on this project. We started with 6 dispensers, and now we've landed on a small 4-dispenser fuel station. We got rid of the car wash proposed for this marketplace. We also added a large landscape buffer to the south of the fuel station for the residents on the south side of Copper Avenue. As you can see on this screen, this is a view, artist rendering from what our shopping plaza would look like and the fuel station from the south side of Copper. We've even applied for high-speed electric vehicle charging stations. But the bottom line is this: the marketplace does not work without the fuel station. Naturally, when you develop anything, there are concerns, differences of opinion, and opponents of your project. But we have gone far beyond what any other developer would do to listen, to address, and to resolve these concerns. Let me share some of these concerns with you and how we address them. One issue that was raised was a possible increase in crime from the shopping center and the fuel station. The data from Fresno Police Department shows actually this doesn't happen. As this chart shows, on a national level, markets or convenience stores have a robbery rate of 6.9%. In Fresno, this rate is 5%. And here's what's interesting. When combined with a well-lit fuel station, the crime rate drops to 2%. So almost 60% less because you have more open space and a lot more lighting. We even went a step further and asked Turner Security to weigh in on this issue. They said the best approach to prevent crime is to keep the area well lit with cameras, and if you can, keep at least one store open 24/7. So in case there's issues or loitering or any criminal activity, somebody can report that to the Fresno PD. You should also know that I'm negotiating with Fresno Police Department to bring a satellite station to our site. Next concern we heard was regarding air quality. There was a lot of misleading information proliferated by one of the opponents about the hazards of gas stations. The study referred to in the letter sent out by the opponent neglected to consider California's strict guidelines on installing, monitoring, and operating of gas stations. Unfortunately, this created a lot of fear in the neighborhood. As part of our process, we have followed California EPA's strict guidelines, hired several experts, including in the field of air quality. Our site plan has received approval from the San Joaquin Air Pollution Control District, which is one of the toughest air pollution controlled and air quality control districts in the nation, and from the City of Fresno Planning Department. According to all of these sources, our 4-dispenser fuel station is required to have a 50-foot buffer to the nearest residential property, daycare, school, or playground. We are providing over 200 feet, or 4 times what is required. I even went a step further and hired a second expert in air quality to analyze our findings and make sure that There's no stone that I haven't turned. Make sure we've done our work 100% correctly. And he will be speaking in a few minutes. Another issue that came up was, will there be too many stations, or will there another gas station be built next to the Rite Aid shopping center? Sam Bogdanovich, who represents a couple of the property owners in that shopping center, will be speaking later on tonight. And he represents, he's told us that the owners on that project, owners in that shopping center have not agreed to allow for the change to occur, simply because, amongst other reasons, that that proposed gas station will take out parking in that center. Another issue that came up was 24/7 sale of alcohol. First of all, California doesn't allow 24/7, but you should know, as also mentioned by staff, my question from one of the commissioners, that our CUP does not include a request to sell alcohol. Some opponents have requested that we turn this site into a park. This property is simply not suited for a park. It is located next to a major thoroughfare, a PG&E substation, and a sewer plant. We have built several parks and trails at Copper River, and we intend on building quite a few more, but this site is simply not suited for a park. We're not the only ones who have shown emphatic support for this project and this property. We have over 500 folks that live in the area of Copper River and whose addresses have been verified, who have signed our petition to support this project. That petition and a verified list of supporters has been shared with city staff. Some of those folks will be speaking tonight. This list, you should know, does not include the more than 40 people we have deleted from the petition because they did not live in the Copper River Ranch vicinity. We've even had several folks who came to us and said, I signed the opponent's petition, but then I heard your presentation on one of your many Zoom meetings, and I completely support your project. What you see on your screen is as one of those statements from one of the supporters that has since supported our project. Over the 40 years that I've developed in Fresno, I've had folks that occasionally oppose my projects. Most recently, I finished an infill apartment development near Fig Garden Village. Several neighbors that opposed the project when it was going through the city approval process walked up to me last month and told me how happy they are with the finished product and finished project, and how sorry they are for having given me such a hard time in Planning Commission. Naturally, any project will have some opposition, and we accept that. But our goal has always been to win over our opponents because we want them to feel a sense of connection to their neighbors, to enjoy the convenience this marketplace will bring, and to take pride in the beautiful community we have developed. On a personal level, I'm going to be living and working next to this project every day. My staff and I will be using this fuel station and dining in these restaurants and shopping throughout the plaza. So you can bet we are going to make sure this is something we can be proud of and done well. We will do a great job of developing this project. I have a big vested interest in this area and our city as a whole, and we will build a project everyone will be proud of, including our opponents. Now, I love our city. I've lived here over 40 years. And this city has been good to me and my family and our staff. I'm a very proud Fresnan. And it's something that I'm reluctant to bring up this evening, but I feel that you should know what's happened over the last 4 to 8 weeks. My reputation and the reputation of this company stands on its own. I don't need to prove that to anybody. We care about this community. We've worked hard to earn the trust of folks in Fresno. And we've proven that by the kind of projects we've built over the last 40 years, and the kind of community work we do, and the kind of community outreach we do. We love this community. I love Fresno. I'm a proud Fresnan. as an immigrant to this land of over 40 years ago. But I have to tell you, the last 4 to 8 weeks have been tough. I've been accused of exploiting my homeowners, putting their children and children's health at risk. I have a personal relationship with many of my homeowners. I get a chance to meet almost every one of them. I get a chance to meet over 80% of people that buy from me. Because we care about them. We care about their livelihoods. We care about their thoughts, their process they go through. Close to half of our sales comes from referrals from our homeowners. We will never break that trust. We built our company on trust, on integrity, on being truthful. And we will never put people's health at risk. That's why I've gone through all the steps we have to make sure that our project has met all the strict guidelines, both at a state level and at a local level. We've been also accused of being greedy. I've been accused of sending my staff door to door, lying to homeowners so that we can get their signature, telling them that there is no fuel station or gas station in this project to get their signature. What you see in front of you is actually a hard copy of the petition, which we sent all the copies in today, so you can see for yourself. We clearly have a picture on the petition, and we clearly identify that we have a 4-dispenser fuel station in the write-up. Our company, again, I don't want to brag, but our company, we care about this community. Here's a list of some of the organizations that we partner up with on an annual basis. There's over 200. There's only 10 on this list. I don't want to brag, but our reputation stands on its own. And we take care of our community. Again, I hate to even bring this up, but when there's a need in our community, we step up. We build the right projects. We care about the neighborhood. And yes, I agree. I have to admit that we will always have opponents, but we will work hard and have worked extremely hard to try to win our opponents over. Over 10 Zoom meetings, incredible outreach, door-to-door campaign. So folks know what we're trying to achieve and trying to set the record straight. And this year, when COVID hit, and then when we had the fires, I'm very proud of our company, of Granville Homes, and our staff who volunteered, gave their time, resources, and the kind of money we raised to help relieve pain in our community. I want to thank you for your time. Sorry this was a little lengthy. And now I'd like to turn it over to our attorney as part of this panel, Mr. John Kinsey.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is John Kinsey. I'm counsel for the applicant. There's been a lot of misinformation floating around social media regarding both this project and Granville. So I wanted to briefly but proactively address that misinformation. First, of course, Granville wants to allay any concerns that the public may have about this proposed project. Second, we anticipate hearing from some of the appellants tonight and want to make sure that the Planning Commission has the correct information. And as you'll see, the information that's been provided by the appellants and the opponents to date, it's misleading, it's based on outdated and inaccurate data, and it's legally and factually without merit. For example, this has been referenced before, there have been numerous statements asking people to come out and speak against the proposed project, asserting that it would include liquor sales. Of course, as it has been affirmed by staff, that is absolutely not the case. In addition, there's statements in social media asserting that Granville concealed the gas station in its petition. And as Mr. Assemi showed you, this was very clearly disclosed in the petition that generated almost 500 signatures. Also, there have been a lot of statements that the gas station would put children's health at risk. And we've looked at the basis of this argument, and here's an email that the city recently received referencing a report that much of this appears to be based on, suggesting a link between gas stations and leukemia. So we did our own investigation. Who was this report drafted by? A gentleman named Peter Infante. He provides testimony for personal injury attorneys, and his study actually does not find a link between gas stations and leukemia. Rather, it advocates for additional analysis. And in fact, the primary study cited by Dr. Infante showed no link between gas stations and leukemia. Specifically, the authors did not find an association between residential proximity to gasoline service stations and leukemia. Now, the other thing that's worth noting is this study is based on decades-old data from outside the United States. It refers to data from France and the United Kingdom before vapor recovery was generally required. Why is this important? The US has some of the most stringent air quality regulations in the world. California, in turn, has the most stringent air quality regulations in the United States. And the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District is amongst the most stringent in California. And over time, air quality regulations have continued to get more and more stringent. So information and statistics that are 20 to 30 years old from the United Kingdom and France are simply irrelevant. Now, it's easy to post opinions on social media or for a partisan to write an article. In court, however, judges won't let you present expert testimony unless it passes some minimal thresholds. It needs to be reliable. The opinions need to be supported by evidence. And so what have some courts said about Dr. Infante's opinions regarding benzene and gas stations? Here it is right in front of you. Dr. Infante exhibited a willingness to ignore or disregard contrary results and to manipulate data. That's what one court found about the same author. Another court found his opinions were unreliable. Another found he was unable to provide any research study that concluded that exposure to benzene causes a form of leukemia. And one court, trial court, found Dr. Infante did not meet the demands of good science, and his opinions are little more than rank speculation or imagination. So this is the evidence that's being relied upon here. Now, David Mitchell will be talking about air quality in a moment, but again, and Darius referenced this earlier, we're talking about a small gas station. There have been some statements in social media that we're within 300 feet, and because of that, the gas station can't be approved and it's not safe. Well, that's just not the case. California Air Resources Board says that for typical gas stations, a 50-foot separation is recommended. Here, we're well outside of that. And this is not just a typical gas station, it's small. We're talking about 4 dispensers here. So again, this is a small station serving the nearby community, not a large destination station. So in sum, the article relied upon by the appellants is unreliable, and the project won't result in emissions that would create a danger of adverse health impacts. Now, there have also been inaccurate statements in the social media that Granville isn't interested in a walkable, well-planned community. Here you have some examples about, that Granville is challenging the Copper River way of life and exploiting the community. And we want to put those assertions to rest. Granville's moving its corporate offices adjacent to the proposed project, and this includes offices for Granville's leadership. They're actually going to be closer to the gas station than all but a few residential structures. Several of Granville's employees, including those with leadership positions, live or will live in the community. Granville's going to be marketing homes within Copper River for many years. The project's going to be a gateway for those homes. And it would make zero economic or practical sense for Granville to develop some sort of eyesore or project with an environmental hazard at this location. It just doesn't make sense. So in sum, the arguments raised in social media and by the appellants and their counsel are without merit, they're lacking in evidentiary support, and the Planning Commission should defer to the conclusions of staff. And now I'd like to introduce you to Dave Mitchell, who's going to be speaking on air quality.
Good evening. I'm Dave Mitchell, the owner of Mitchell Air Quality Consulting. I was retained to do an analysis of the project emissions and use the San Joaquin Valley's prioritization screening tool to determine the potential impact of the project. In addition, I reviewed some of the comment letters that were provided for context and whether they were accurate or not. First of all, on the comment letters, as was already stated, they do use outdated information and not based on California. And kind of an interesting statistics with ARB's control, the California Air Resources Board controls of gas stations. They just reported in this summer in a presentation to their governing board that over the years, their emissions have been reduced 96%. So it's just like a tremendous accomplishment already. In addition, we have the San Joaquin Valley Air District, who's responsible for implementing the CARB or ARB regulations. And they're also responsible for doing inspections at the site and verifying that all the equipment works. So there are safeguards in place within the state and to ensure that all the equipment is properly functioning and achieves the emissions that it's supposed to achieve. And also, moving on to the results of the prioritization screening analysis, the San Joaquin Valley has a standard of, it's a prioritization score of 10, and projects that exceed that number need to do a full health risk assessment with dispersion modeling and a health risk model. In this case, the score using the project emissions was 1.5, so it's 85% below the threshold that required any further action. So it's confirmed that the 50 feet and amount is correct, and the prioritization screening tools is conservative. It considers the distance up to 300 feet, whether that would be an impact or not. So finally, one thing I wanted to point out was, the state has its own agency, the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment Group, and it's their responsibility to do assessment of all the scientific studies that come through on cancer-causing chemicals and impacts that such. And when they go through and review materials provided on or the studies that come out on this impact, they use a scientific advisory panel, and then it also goes through a public process. So the any kind of new information that comes out is gone through a stringent process to make sure it's a valid impact, and it would have an effect on whether the current standards need to be revised or not. So with that, that's all. If you have any questions for me or anybody else, I guess we're available at this point.
Do any commissioners have questions for the applicant or the attorney?
Yeah, hi, this is Brad. I had a couple questions for the applicant.
Yes, Commissioner.
Hi, thanks. You did a nice presentation. I really appreciate it. Just a couple questions on listening to you guys. I heard you say about the lighting, and you're in support of making sure you have adequate lighting, backside, front side.
Yes, correct. We know that lighting is very important to keep the place, well lit. We also are looking at, how do we manage the lighting so that it doesn't negatively impact the neighbors and surrounding areas. So using light shields to make sure the property and this, 4-acre plaza is well lit, especially the fuel station and the market. And that's the advantage of having it open 24/7. Is that at least that portion of it is going to be well lit. There will be lighting all throughout the project that will be on at some level. But yeah, we believe lighting and security cameras are the first line to keep the place safe.
Okay, great. And you would be I don't know the way this body or what it's going to go, but not being open 24 hours a day, would that be doable?
The challenge of, so again, I've checked with several, with one security company and several operators that the question really becomes, if it's not open 24/7 and let's say it's closed from midnight to 5 a.m. That means that during those hours, the place is dark. The fuel station and the market is dark and there's nobody on site. So if there's any loitering or opportunity for somebody to kind of break into any store in that area, there will be nobody on site. So that's the question. When we first were looking at the hours of operation, we consulted several folks and they came back to me and said, hey, if you have one person, at least one store that is willing to stay open 24/7, encourage them to do that. So that's kind of where we've left it at, and we have nurses, physicians that live in the area. Some of our homeowners have shared with me. We have an early morning shift. We have a 4 a.m. shift. You want to stop by, get a pastry, get a fresh brewed coffee, maybe get gas, and on the way, to our work. And some of those folks, some of our neighbors and residents, work out of town. And they have to travel out of town from time to time. They want to, get their stuff there, get their gas, and then just be on the road early in the morning. So those are the debates we've had. And again, Turner Security has told me, if you want more safety, try to keep one place lit 24/7 with somebody stationed there.
Yeah, and then if for some reason it was, I heard you say about the lighting, you would have the lighting still lit. If for some reason you're closed in the midnight hours, the lighting would still be operable, correct?
Well, if the place closes early, then the majority of the lighting they call the fuel station, the majority of the lighting for the fuels, I mean, you see those around town from time to time. There are some stations, close at midnight, and then their lights go. Majority of the lights get turned off. I don't know if all of them do, but it won't. I don't believe they're as well lit unless they're actually open and operable.
Okay, that's what I had for now. Thank you very much. Your presentation was phenomenal and gave me a lot of information. Been reading through all your stuff and really appreciate it. And I'll go ahead and listen to the other commissioners and the public. Thank you. Thanks again.
Okay, do any other commissioners have questions for the applicant?
I have a question.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Simi, I had a question in regards to, have you identified or received any kind of interest from businesses that might occupy what you're developing?
Yes, we've talked to actually quite a few folks interested in, well, let me put it this way. I've talked to 3 local restaurant operators and owners. I've talked to at least 7 folks interested in the market and the fuel station. We've talked to folks that want to open up a pizza store, again, restaurants. I don't have anything solid because, we don't have all of our entitlement in place, and I don't want to make promises. But we have been engaging in conversations. I can tell you that the most recent is a farmer's market, which as soon as we have our approval, the minute we have our approval, I'm going to actually execute that contract and ask for a permit from the city to open up a farmer's market on this site early, before we even break ground. Hopefully, by spring of 2021. I've been negotiating with brokers, it's probably at least 24 folks that we've been talking to, negotiating with, but we're all waiting to make sure that I want to make sure my entitlements are in place, and then we'll kick this off. But there's lots of interest. There's folks that are that have seen this project, seen my project, seen the architecture, seen the kind of work we do. They know of my reputation and what we create in this community, and they want to be a part of it.
Great. And then a follow-up question is, what are we looking at when it comes to an estimated completion time? Do we have a projected estimated time?
That's really difficult to address. My guess is so the people that we're negotiating, our fuel station plus market will be the first to get off the ground. We have, and I can't mention names, but we have one very interested party in a restaurant, a very nice restaurant. We have one very interested party in a pizza shop, and several others. So commercial centers of this size, typically, it's a few years. I can't tell you how many years it's going to take. Economy related, but we have some great demand that from the community, and we want to. I'm confident that sometime next year we'll have quite a few folks that are going to be interested in signing leases with us or purchase property on this site. We have daycare that's interested in going in. I mean, we're negotiating with all kinds of folks, nothing concrete, but I can tell you the level of interest, the last mailer we sent out, we asked for folks that were interested to contact us, and the level of interest is pretty high. With commercial, you just don't know. We can build it. It has to be built right. I want to make sure the project is successful. I don't want to be another Lassens. So we're going to find the right owner, operator that's reputable enough, that has got the financial backing to do a first-class job and do what our vision is for Copper River Marketplace, and the vision that we've really promised the neighbors and our homeowners for over 2 decades. I'm sorry, under 2 decades.
Great. And then last question is, have you had any conversations with Council Member Gary Bedfeld in regards to him supporting it at all?
Yes, I have. Several conversations. He's told me he likes the project. He's seen the project. I've gone over the site plan, the architecture. Yeah, yes, I've had multiple conversations with Council Member Bedfeld about this project.
All right, great. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Raj, before we go out to the public, I noticed that we've got 118 attendees, and I'm not sure if all of those people are wishing to speak, but I did a little math, and that's over 6 hours if they each have 3 minutes. So how do we handle that?
You are empowered, Chair Bray, with the concurrence of the remainder of the commission, to shorten the time in the interest of making sure that everybody has the ability to speak. So what we have seen done in the past is the time reduced to 1 minute at City Council from time to time when there is such a voluminous number of people.
Okay, so what's the feeling of the rest of the commissioners?
I think I want to, I mean, personally, I would like to give the local residents like their time to 3 minutes. I mean, I don't mind staying late if I have to, just to make sure that, we do take their concerns into consideration too.
This is Brad. I would like to do it 1 minute to 2 minutes.
Raj?
Chair Bray, I'd like to ask the applicant and the appellant how many people are going to speak. So I would like to ask, instead of assuming that there's going to be 18 people that are going to
We
speak.
don't know.
May I make this is the applicant, Doris. Can I make one more comment about this issue? So with respect, out of respect to this planning commission and to this body, we had so many more people that wanted to speak tonight that we thought it would be overwhelming and we could be here long hours. So we really, on our end, restricted that. There's, I want to say 20 or 25 people on our end. And the balance of the folks, I mean, we could have 200 people here speaking this evening to support our project. And out of respect for this commission, we ask that, hey, we believe we have enough folks speaking, articulating their point that live actually in the area or close by, because as planning commission knows, we can have people from all over the place. So that's what we have done out of respect for this commission.
Chair Bray, just as a point of clarification, since you are speaking to the rest of the commission, if somebody who's not part of the commission wishes to speak, you do need to recognize them before they speak, including the applicant.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention to that.
Just for clarity, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the applicant has basically had about 45 minutes to speak at this point. Do any of the other commissioners agree with Commissioner Vang that we should give everyone 3 minutes? Do we vote on that, Raj, or?
Yes, you can vote on that. That would be the appropriate way to go. I just want to also point out that pursuant to the Planning Commission bylaws, there is a general ending time of meetings at 10 p.m. And so you may, continue the hearing to the next regularly scheduled date. These are decisions you guys can have a conversation about. But yeah, if there's a motion to reduce the time, that would be needed. That would need a second, and then you would vote.
Okay, do I have anyone who would like to move to reduce the time?
Would like to move on that to reduce the time
To what?
to 1 to 2 minutes.
But which one?
Commissioner Hardy, the Commissioner Hardy.
He said 1 minute.
That I will second that.
Okay. All right, so can we have a roll call vote on that?
Is there a second?
I don't think, I think Commissioner Diaz thought that Commissioner Hardy made a motion. He made a suggestion. So.
If I'm going to make a motion, I would make a motion for 2 minutes to meet in the middle.
Okay.
I'd like to second that motion.
Okay.
Is that a motion, Commissioner Hardy? You said if I make a motion.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're tired.
I'll compromise.
Okay. All right. So can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
No.
Commissioner Vang,
No.
Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
Commissioner Sodi Lane,
Yes.
and Chair Bray.
Yes. Okay, so we will have each person have 2 minutes, and we will be pretty insistent that you complete your comments in 2 minutes. And so Gavin, can you time that, or do you want me to do it and try to work?
I would be happy to time it, but my question to you is, do you want me to just silence them at 2 minutes, or do you want me to provide a warning that their time is over?
Why don't you give them a 10-second warning and then silence? And
you got it. I just want to make sure I'm following what you want me to do. That's not a problem.
And I want to apologize to anyone ahead of time who feels like they've been cut off, because I know this is really important to you. So we are going to stick to the 2 minutes. Gavin's going to give you a 10-second warning before your time's up. And then unfortunately, we will have to silence you after that period of time. All righty, so let's go. Is there anyone from the public in favor of the project?
Of course, we have lots of hands coming up, so I'll just start at the top.
Just start at the top.
So Paul, I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. You've got 2 minutes.
Hello? Hello?
We can hear you.
Yes, this is Gopal Basola. I am by the neighborhood of Copper and Maple. I've been staying here since 2016. And I am a business owner. My wife is a doctor working in the CRMC hospital. And I own a house here. I have a kids. They go to the Figman Elementary School and other boy in Granite Ridge Middle School. I think the gas station, gas station is good idea to be here, and neighborhood market is very, very good, so that it will be easier for us when we go to work. We can fill the gas here, and we can go to work. And the neighborhood market is very nice here. We need it. In fact, I bought this house. I moved from Visalia to Fresno because this Copper River Ranch area is a very good, very nice, very protected, very safe. That's the reason I moved here. And for here, when we fill the gas in the morning, we have to drive from here to little bit 2-3 miles down the road. And when we go to work, we have to wake up in the morning, get the coffee, and go to the work. So this neighborhood area, like when I went to the Granville, they told us they will have a neighborhood market here sometime soon in the future. I'm looking it since long. I didn't know what is going on. Later on, I knew that there was a neighborhood market going to be starting pretty soon. That makes us very happy. And there is a right rate. By the right rate, if there is a grocery store like a farmer market, it would be really nice. I would really appreciate it here. I would appreciate city council if they can approve it. If something happens, if the gas station has some problem, California will come and they will not renew the license. If they follow the Fresno City code, they should follow the Fresno City code. If there is some kind of problem,
please.
Okay, that's the one. I favor for the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Basala.
Next, we have Dan. Dan, you're unmuted now.
Thank you. Can I get a hands up that somebody hears me?
Yes, we hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, Planning Commission, for listening to our concerns tonight and your time. I'm Dan Mertlick. I have resided at 11345 North Garden Sage in the Sageberry area of Copper River since 2011. The reason I purchased in this area was the master plan vision by Granville Homes and the other builders. I've seen proof of that vision in the past years with the continuation of the marketplace. Upon hearing about the gas station project, I did have some reservations. As more information was forthcoming, I noticed a pattern of a planned community that I was accustomed to. The fuel station is a small part of the project, but it is a big, large focus on the opposition. The plan is impressive, and it is a blend of what I can benefit from, and the local developer oversees the project. I'm frustrated always to have to drive to enjoy amenities that others enjoy, adding traffic to their area. And with close proximity, I can use public sidewalks to safely attain the project. Granville has addressed many of the issues of the neighbors in the area, many that don't even live in the Copper River area. They address security, environmental, and crime. I look forward to enjoying more of the master plan benefits that can be enjoyed by the residents of this area. Thank you, folks. Dan Merklick.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next person is Paul. Paul, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Thank you for allowing me to speak to the Commission this evening. My name is Paul Burrell, and I'm a resident of Copper River Ranch. And I would like to show my support this evening for the proposed 4-pump gas station, local market, and the other amenities that I feel we are lacking right now at Copper River Ranch. I have read the literature for both the proponents and opponents of this venture, and after careful review, I believe that the development will be an asset to the community and enjoyed by those like myself residing in Copper River Ranch. Over the last 4 decades, Granville Homes has become synonymous with excellence in regard to creating and building planned developments, whether they be in downtown Fresno or family neighborhoods throughout the city. Granville Homes has taken the time, effort, and put forth the financial commitment to inform residents of this venture via direct mailings, creating a project website, having numerous Zoom informational meetings, sending emails, and contacting residents by phone. Granville Homes values the input and suggestions of its homeowners and has used them to address the community desires and the concerns for the property in question. I have no doubt that Mr. Assemi and his company will build an upscale retail development that will be in the best interests of the local residents and that it will be built to the highest standards while adhering to all California guidelines and local regulations. As a 6-year resident of Copper River Ranch, I urge the commission to approve this project and deny the opposition's petition. The Copper River Ranch residents will thank you, and I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Burrell.
Next, we have Jamie. You can unmute yourself, please.
Hello. Thank you for your time tonight. There has been many misconceptions put out publicly against this project, some of them directly impugning the reputation of the Granville organization. I'd like to set the record straight. The Assemi family are unwavering supporters of our community. Each and every development is a masterful improvement to our neighborhoods. They have developed areas all over our city, from downtown to Copper River. They have shown that they are good stewards of our city, our community, and our planet. They dedicate themselves by giving of their time and their philanthropy. Many times when I have seen the family speak in public, they begin by thanking the United States of America for the opportunities afforded them after coming to this country. It is heartwarming to hear them speak. I have been fortunate to work with both Darius and his brother, and they and their family and employees are sincere, efficient, and trustworthy. Granville is developing this project to do the right thing. If they are prevented from proceeding with the marketplace, they will be forced to sell this property. In a matter of months, you will see applications from Circle K, 7-Eleven, Johnny Quick, Dollar Store, or a thrift store to occupy this area. You can see what happens when they don't develop an area. You get 3-story apartments with comp roofs rather than a beautiful development like they did at Brookstone on Nees Avenue. I live in Tuscan Bluffs at Copper River. I love my home, which was built by Granville, and my neighborhood. Please don't let anyone else develop this project. I ask that you deny the appeal and approve the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Safira. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good evening. Good evening, Planning Commission. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Safira Mansouri. I'm a homeowner in the Copper River Ranch area. I'm one of the first, as a matter of fact. I'm a business owner. I'm also a pharmacist. I'm a father of 3. My wife's a nurse. My children go to Fugman and to Clovis North. So I have a vested interest in making sure that this neighborhood is good for all of us, my family included. When I moved here in 2007, I was promised a complete kind of master plan community. I was excited about that. I came from Orange County, and I was really excited when I saw the master plan early on. That's one of the reasons why I purchased a home here. And I got to give it up to Granville and Darius. What they're proposing reminds me very much of what I had in Orange County and Irvine when I lived there. It's extremely accessible. It makes a lot of sense. I know at first, being here so long, we got used to it the way it was. And when someone wants to change things, it's easy to get into the habit of fear and let doubt and that stuff settle in. But once I saw the project and I saw details, the renderings, and I talked to the Granville staff and Darius himself, I felt very comfortable, and I'm super excited. Both as a business owner with experience in these things, we need a gas station in this area. I like the idea. I'm tired of the drag racing on Copper. With well-lit businesses such as that, that'll cut down on the drag racing. And I think it'll do us a lot of good convenience-wise. I'm very excited, and I urge you, please, to vote in favor of letting this project go through till completion. I appreciate your time again. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next, we have Palamo. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, yes, it's Paloma, but yes. So I am a real estate agent, and I work in the area. the area needs something. It's going to get developed at one point. And really the best thing to do is to let Granville control what the area is going to look like. They're so great with caring about the community, and they want their homes to continue to be, at the value they are, especially the neighborhood. And so I know that they're going to be able to pick the right businesses and make it, look beautiful just like it does now, and extend it out to, that area.
Thank you, Paloma.
Okay, next up is Megan. Megan, you're being allowed to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Hi. I just want to thank the Planning Commission for allowing me to speak this evening. I am in support of the Granville Homes developing a marketplace and gas station on the corner of Copper and Maple. I am a current resident at Terra Bella at Copper River Ranch, and I've lived here for several years. I feel that having walkable access to a marketplace and closer gas station would be a huge convenience. The closest gas station to our property right now is 1.5 miles away south of where our neighborhood is located. And that doesn't seem like very long. But when you consider our lifestyle, and it's something that hasn't quite been mentioned yet, all of our family lives toward Bass Lake and Oakhurst. All of our family, on my parents and my husband's parents. So one of the things that we do is we have to head south if we want to get gas in Fresno before we head up north, which we never do. So what we end up doing is we end up purchasing gas either in Friant or in Coarsegold or Oakhurst. And so our money is not even staying in Fresno for gas most of the time. And so that is something to me that would be amazing because I work in nonprofit. My husband owns several corporations. I want to support Fresno. Fresno has supported us. Fresno has made us successful. And I want to give that back to people as well, to our business owners in Fresno. I have seen the site plan. I'm very familiar with the aesthetically pleasing and quality craftsmanship that Granville Homes is known for. I have no doubt that this will be an added benefit and value to our entire neighborhood and community. I hope that you will deny the appeal, and I look forward and I am excited about you approving this project.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Karen. Karen, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Karen Dorian. Oliver Wanger is going to talk in place of me.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My name is Oliver Wanger. I have been a resident in the south of the place we are talking about for 27 years. I can tell you that it's 20 minutes to a gas station from there. That's Chesapeake Circle. I am a former United States Marine. I am a former United States District Judge. I am the only surviving founder of our local law school, San Joaquin College of Law. I have lived in Fresno since 1967. And I can say that just the existence of a fuel station within this area, to not waste 20 minutes, is something that is important. But there are two other issues that are important. Most of the opponents here are not residents. They know nothing about Fresno. They don't care about Fresno. This is essentially something that has been done, quite frankly, to with all due respect, to confuse your council. In addition, what we also know is that Granville has been excellent. All of their work is superlative. And in the final analysis, as was just indicated by the prior speaker, she goes north to get gas. It takes us 20 minutes from Chesapeake Circle to get gas any day of the week, let alone what's going to be done here. We are totally in support of this. And we say there is nothing positive, there is nothing real that is offered by the opponent here. We respectfully request that you deny their appeal and have this.
10 seconds, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wanger.
Next, we have Al. Al, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Al, you could speak now.
Al, are you able to speak? You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Okay, I'm going to have to disable Al and move to the next one.
Thank you.
Al, go ahead and raise your hand again if you can figure out your audio problems. Next is Anna. Anna, you've been allowed to unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. My name is Anna Shivichalova, and my family are residents of Copper River Ranch location. Me and my family have been waiting patiently for Copper River Ranch Marketplace and asking you to please approve this project. The reason why my family and I supporting this project is that we really need this beautiful market and shop nearby. There's nothing like this near right now. And it's so inconvenient for busy families like mine that we have to drive at least 20 minutes to get a couple items we need for dinner. Our family loves to cook, and quite often we cooking something and we realizing that we don't have 1 or 2 ingredients. So it's taking at least 20 minutes to go to the store and grab what you need. 20 minutes over there, 20 minutes back. This project is beautiful. This project is elegant and outstanding. And we have builder that we trust 100% with a great reputation. So this project will be definitely a great addition to this neighborhood.
Thank you.
I appreciate everybody's time and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Michael, you're up. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Moffett, and actually I'm a local oncologist, and I've been practicing in Fresno now for 26 years. I have a couple of points. One, I lived in One Opus for close to 10 years, so I'm very familiar with the area. And when I lived there, one of the detractors of living there was the vacant lot across the street and the water treatment plant and the high voltage power lines. And so I was very kind of frustrated that that space had not been developed. And the only thing we had was the road across the street. And it was probably one of the more frustrating things about living there was the lack of being able to get gas. I actually chose to move to Clovis, and I just had an opportunity to either move to a different location in Clovis or to Copper River again. And I decided after looking at this kind of proposed plan that I would actually relocate back out to Copper River. I think Darius has done a great job in outlining a vision, and I think Darius has kind of the right mindset for what this community needs. I don't want to get in my car. I walk pretty much everywhere. I would walk down there, and in fact have relocated as of a month ago to Copper River. This was one of the big pulls that brought me back from Clovis. I understand the concern about the risk for acute leukemia or childhood leukemia. And so in looking at this, I actually did review the literature myself. The California air quality standards are probably the strictest in the nation. The requirement for being 500 feet from a gas station is actually for a high producing gas station.
Seconds, please.
This is not. And I think that any concern for acute leukemia and that risk is really negligible.
Thank you, Dr. Moffett.
Next up, we have Joanna. Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Joanna Crocker. I'm the director of a Fresno County Emergency Department and ICU. Obviously, since COVID-19, I have worked 24 hours a day. I take calls 7 days a week. I have had no breaks. I went to work at 3 a.m. this morning because my night shift crew needed me. We have a ridiculous amount of COVID holds, and I love being able to help the members of our community, but I have nowhere to get gas. So mind you, a woman in her car by herself at 3 a.m. needed gas this morning. So it was exciting to hear that we're going to get a gas station here. I really need it. The working class, we really need it over here. I live at Copper and Maple across the street from the proposed project. My parents still live in the Woodward Lakes. I've lived here my entire life. Granville does wonderful things for this community. We've entrusted them to build Copper Rivers entirely. Why would we let anybody else build a shopping center there? I want the market. I mean, when I'm running in and out, I have very little time in my day. I need somewhere quick to run in, not a big busy grocery store, but a little quick place to grab something for my babies. They go to Fugman. This is the most desirable area to live in. And I did have a lot of other people who want to join this call, but Darius did try to cut us down. A lot of the medical community here, we are in support of this market. We are in support of this gas station and hopeful to walk there. We need some wins with this year that we have had. I could take any extra time you can give me in my morning to get gas, any extra time to run into the market. And I love the proposed the proposal that Granville has put together. It's just beautiful. So, I really hope that you approve this project and give me somewhere that we can go to and save me time in my day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Karen. Karen, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, yes, thank you, Planning Commission, for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Karen Sandusky. I live at 11766 North Via Venezia in the Via Fiore neighborhood of Copper River Ranch since 2015. This is something that has been promised to the residents in the master plan community of Copper River Ranch. I have seen the plans and am in favor of its approval by the Planning Commission. I believe with Mr. Assimi's spearheading this project, I am confident it will be first class and in line with what I have come to expect with Granville's level of commitment to excellence. As a side note, I'm a retired law enforcement officer. I'm born and raised in Clovis. And when I retired, I said, if I was going to move to Fresno, this was the only place I would move to after leaving my beautiful city of Clovis. And I have been out here for over 5 years and I have not been disappointed. Everything that Granville and Darius touch turns to gold. And I have no reason to think that this project would be any different. Again, thank you for your time. And I'd like to see this project approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to apologize in advance for any names that I slaughter, like this one that's coming up next. Sao Hung, I believe. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Sai Hong Chen. So I just thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I am just living across the street where the project will be. And I heard so many people speaking about those things, but they are not even near to the place. I'm across the street. I live here more than 10 years. When I bought that house, and I don't want to have any shopping center or even gas station near it. If it is so, I want to buy it. So think about it. If that is your house, it's near your house, there is a station, it's going to be built. How would you think, folks? So I'm actually very upset of it because, who would like to buy a house which is near the gas station or convenience stores? And the plan was a new one. if the Grandview house that they wanted to build plan something like this, they should plan ahead of time. I'm not even the Grandview house. Okay, so this place is not near the Grandview house community. It's near us. So also I heard someone said that it takes them 20 minutes to the gas station. Actually, it's not. The station is planned for that project. There is only 2 blocks away. There is a gas station. And there is nearby, there is already dining areas. Okay, so if they think it's near them, it is convenient for them, then it's also convenient for them.
10 seconds, please.
So I just object to this one. I hope that you will not approve it, because that is too unfair for us.
Thank you. Before we move on, Raj, I'd like to remind everyone that we're currently listening to people who are in support of the project. So please, at this time, only raise your hand if you're in support. And Mr. Asimi did say he had 20 people and had limited to that. So Raj, I'm keeping count. After 20 people, can we then move to the people in opposition? That work?
Does Commissioner Sodi Lane want to say something before I answer?
So I would like to request that after we've heard from all those in support, could we please take a 3-minute break?
Sure. Yeah, we could do that. But Raj, can we do it?
Commissioner Bray, you've had.
So the motion on the floor was to provide 2 minutes to everybody who wishes to comment. That motion passed. There was no motion limiting the number of speakers, despite the comments made by the applicant. So if you want to limit the number of speakers, you'd need another motion and a second, and then you have to vote to limit the number of speakers.
Yeah. Well, does anyone desire to do that? If not, we'll just move on to the next person in support. Okay.
We'll continue. Allison, you're going to be allowed to unmute yourself.
Good evening. I want to thank the commissioners for allowing me to speak tonight. I am a resident of Tuscan Bluffs for the past 10 years. I have 3 amazing children that 2 of which attend Fugman. 1 is at Clovis North. And I'm also a registered nurse, and I'm married to a pharmacist. This area in Granville has been an amazing builder to live in and live with. I've been a Fresno resident all my life. My parents actually own a Granville home off of Maple and Beeheimer, and they've lived there for the past 25 years. Granville has been nothing but amazing to them. Up to this day, whenever there's an issue, we contact Granville and immediately they have an answer or some type of support for us. In this area, we have a lot of new developments going up. There's some new apartment complexes going up. With that means an increase of population in the area. The one gas station, which I believe the previous speaker was speaking of, which is on Maple and Beeheimer, has been successful only because number one, it's the closest gas station in the area next to Chevron, but that strip mall has been kept alive because of the gas station. Had that gas station not been there, that strip mall would not be successful. Lassen's is a pure failure because of that. There's nothing to draw into that area, Fort Washington and Friant. If you live in the area, you know that copper is a frequency for drag racing. I hear it every night. It wakes up my children. With this new project and this plan, I do believe that it's going to cut back on traffic. With Darius's plan on having police officers frequently, that is also going to be a deterrent. I want to say that I've been attempted to be contacted on Instagram by some of the opponents. And honestly, I feel like their main argument is a personal attack on Darius Asami. Their main complaint is really there's no pure statistical facts or data into the argument that they're providing.
10 seconds, please.
Their main argument is alcohol when they're conversating with me, but Rite Aid also sells alcohol. I have 3 kids in the area. I have no problem with this plan, and I hope you go forward with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ali. You have been allowed to unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your time. My name is Ali Pavandi, and I was the first person to purchase a Granville home in the Copper River community here, and our third, actually, Granville, and it's been very good. They're great builders, as a first class. And we were promised back then that our community would have a marketplace, such as fuel station, a cafe, and gas station, fuel stations, and we just want to make sure this goes through. I've talked to several of my neighbors. They're very excited about this. We want to have this to complete our neighborhood, our community. It's just time for us to get this approved. I'm hoping your committee will approve this for us. We would appreciate that. Also, want to ride our bike to the store, like cafe, have a coffee with our family, get close gas, get a gas, and go to our work. It's something that was promised to us. I'm hoping you guys will approve this. And as you can see, Granville Homes and Darius Assimi has done extensive research. We've seen the rendering. It really is very tasteful. It's first class. I know Granville and Assimi will do a first class job on this. I'm 100% confident with that. Our community is confident with that. Our neighborhood is confident with that. So I just hope you guys approve this project for us and appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up is Kamran. Kamran, you've been allowed to unmute yourself.
Hi there. Good evening. My name is Kamran, and I live at Copper and Bryant at 1021 East Terrazin since 2012. My wife and I have 3 children who attend Fugman Elementary School. It would be so convenient to have a small gas station nearby. We've been waiting for this for a long time. My family is very big on spending time outdoors, so it's common for us to head up to Millerton Lake with the boat, Shaver Lake, Huntington Lake, the Sierra Nevada mountains. We also frequently travel up 41 North to Yosemite and the surrounding areas. Instead of having to travel south to Costco or any of the smaller gas stations, we're looking forward to taking a quick trip to a nearby gas station that's on our way, fuel up, and be quickly on our way along with snacks for the kids that we can also get from the marketplace. We're also looking forward to having a marketplace, coffee shop, dining options, and other shopping venues so close so we can also ride and walk safely to them. There have been plenty of times, like someone mentioned earlier, that we're missing an ingredient or two for dinner or to make cookies with that can't be found at Rite Aid that require a trip to either Save Mart or Vons, which are the other 2 stores that aren't super close. We have our full trust in Granville to do what they always do, which is build beautiful communities, take care of the people that live in those communities and even those who don't, and deliver on their promises. We are strongly in favor of having the marketplace, a gas station, and everything else that come along with it. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Victor. Victor, you've been allowed to unmute yourself.
Good evening. My name is Victor Gonzalez, and I'm here in support of the project. The proposed shopping center is going to add services long planned for Copper River. It's going to provide local services that will reduce the need to travel by car and promote activities such as walking or riding your bike around the community. Also, for those who head down to the 41 in the morning, everyone knows that there's no gas station between Copper River and the 41 on-ramp. So this is going to provide a place to put gas in the morning as you head down to work. From what I've seen on Nextdoor, which I think is definitely something to point out, and it has been pointed out, those opposing the project will say that this project is going to bring noise and traffic. Really, it's the design of commercial centers is to bring traffic, bring business. I think that's what a lot of the residents want in the area. Others are going to say that gas stations are an environmental hazard, and at the end of the day, the gas station is being built in California, and I think we can all agree that California isn't very lenient on rules, especially the environmental kind. And with that being said, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Raman. Raman, you've been allowed to unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Ramin Naderi. I'm kind of new to the area in terms of living here myself. I moved to Copper River area about 3 years ago. Actually, I'm on Via Azura Way, about 2 blocks from the project in question. My in-laws have been living in the Copper River area and a couple of my cousins also moved from Bay Area to here. The experience I had with Copper River, with Granville in Copper River has been amazing. I've seen, my father-in-law lives actually in Villa Verde Way. And it was one of the first projects that was built. Ever since, every weekend, every other weekend, we were visiting our in-laws from Bay Area, we saw the amazing progress, the professionalism that we saw, that Granville brought to the area. My son currently goes to Clovis North. And as we get more familiar with the area, regardless of talking about Copper River, everywhere you go in town, there is good things that you hear about Asemi family in terms of helping the foundation, helping the community, and the needs of the community. In terms of the project, I'm in full support of it because we are outdoor people coming from Bay Area. This brings a flavor of Bay Area, Newport Beach to the area that you can, walk with your family, grab a coffee. You need something quick. You don't have to drive to Vance to get it. And I think it's a perfect project. And who is better to do it than Granville? And on top of it, the last point I'm going to make that nobody brought up is that substation is a thorn in everybody's eye when you pass by. This project, the rendering that I've seen, brings a beautiful blending of the project with that substation that makes the area much more desirable to look at. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sam. Sam, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, I'll talk fast. My name's Sam Bogdanovich. And as Darius mentioned earlier, I lease the property across the street. But I also got married at Copper River 20 years ago, and I'm one of the original ones in the middle of Copper River since 2012. So I've been around here a long time. As Darius mentioned, I lease the vacant land across the street, and that was slated to become a grocery store. And we've been trying to get a grocery store for quite some time. So when Darius brought his project to us, we became big fans of that project, particularly of the market and the gas station. If that succeeds the way that we believe that it will, it's going to help us bring a full-line grocery store that so far everybody's mentioned that they want. So we're big fans. We're in full support. We've had offers from other gas station guys to go in the shopping center, of which we had approval rights, and we've turned them down because we think the appropriate location for the gas station and the market is to the far west of the property, and our side of the street was more, the grocery, full-line grocery drugstore. So, usually people would consider us competitors. We're not. We're in support of the project. Of particular interest is we really want the market gas station to succeed. That'll just continue to bring better things to the intersection. So just wanted to let everybody know that we're in support of the project.
Thank you.
Next, we have Denise. I'll allow you to unmute yourself.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Denise Lonis, and I am a real estate analyst and trainer with the Department of Licensing and also with the National Association of Home Builders. I'm a new community development expert. And I'm here tonight because I first heard about this issue when my daughter came to me and said, I would love to buy a home. I need a great investment. I need a great builder. And she's a young gal. She's under 25, and this is going to be her first home. So she put in an offer. And shortly after the offer, and of course, we did our research to make sure that this was a strong community and would have strong resale value in the future and had strong community amenities. Shortly thereafter, I noticed that there was a lot of social media and negative attention to this community. So I put my researcher hat on, and I decided to give both sides a very fair amount of research. And I looked at what Granville Homes had to say, and I looked at what it was a Dr. Wu. It looked like he was sending some things out on social media. What became really evident very quickly was that, and in situations like this, people get emotional. They're for one side or the other. I wanted to be extremely neutral, so I looked at the facts, and the facts regarding air quality, they just were not accurate. Some of them were not even in the state of California, not even in the country. The health concerns regarding leukemia, that data was not accurate, not up to date. Also, the crime stats that were presented also were not factual because they did not pertain to the city of Fresno. And in fact, the city of Fresno absolutely has research on that. Everyone's talked tonight about how incredible this development could be. When looking at the research, it was really important for me to be able to look at this, and I do development work from the San Diego area all the way up to the Canadian border. And what I look at is, I have to look at the facts, I have to be neutral, and I have
10 seconds, please.
Is this harmful or is this beneficial? And there's absolutely no doubt that this will be a very strong beneficial development, and I am in high support of it.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Pravin. Pravin, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Dr. Vidiga, and I'm in opposition to this gas station and the convenience store, and because I believe that they are idling sources of air pollution in the Copper Maple 1 mile radius. And we need to understand, I think, a fact that has not been stated is there is an approved gas station already at the corner of Friant and Copper, just, probably 2,000 feet from this gas station. And if we open the door for another gas station here, I can just see we just opposed Johnny Quick as a liquor store. And this corridor is going to become very, very unhealthy. Number one, being an asthma specialist locally for almost 15 years and a local spokesman for the American Lung Association for over 15 years, I'm just embarrassed to report that the Merced-Fresno-Visalia corridor always comes up in the top 3 air quality poorest and worst areas. And we need to prevent the introduction of new air polluting sources when we have an adequate number already, and we're expensing our children's health and the future generations' health. Please join me in not approving this and for further sources of pollutants in our communities. As we know, we already have really bad air quality as it exists, and we're just adding to the problem. And I submitted Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit
10
C,
seconds, please.
and Exhibit D. And the latest one was the child that died a few years ago due to air pollution in the United Kingdom, and it was ruled directly responsible to the air quality.
Okay, next up we have Al again. Al, you can
Can
go ahead
I
and unmute yourself.
remind, for just 1 second, can I please remind everyone who has their hand up now that we are in the portion where you are in favor of the project? And when we are done with those people, we will move to everyone who's opposed. So if you have your hand up and you're opposed, please put it down until we're ready to move into that portion of the hearing.
Okay, Al, go ahead and try to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. My name is Al Maroney, and my family has resided in the Copper River Ranch development since 2008. I am a retired captain with the Fresno Police Department, and during my tenure there, I also served as the Northeast District Commander, where this project is located, for several years prior to my retirement in 2014. I have had the opportunity to be involved with numerous conditional use permit applications for liquor licenses and other business-related infrastructure in this community. And I say that only to demonstrate that I understand that progress represents change, and change often involves compromise, especially in our neighborhoods. I also respect the concerns of the property owners who live along Copper Avenue near this project. This development, in my opinion, will be an asset to not only the residents of Copper River Ranch, but to all of our neighbors in the entire area. The key to its expected success is its design as well as its management in providing needed services to our community. A market, retail shops, and casual dining are all in demand in our area and are part of the overall concept of the Copper River Master Plan. A 4-pump gas station is considered small for commercial purposes, and its 24-hour operation actually reduces the chances of inappropriate activity or crimes attracted by a closed business. But bear in mind, crimes are not created by the mere presence of a commercial business, but it's opportunities for crimes that can be heightened during the times of its non-operation. I have confidence that Granville Homes has presented an attractive, well-designed proposal that is completely within the character of our Copper River community. This project is offering services that will promote our village lifestyle, increase property values, and add a much-needed marketplace that will only enhance our community experience. I encourage the Planning Commission to approve this project as submitted and deny the appeal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Peter. Peter, I'm going to be allowing you to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Go ahead, Peter.
I want to say I've lived in Tuscan Bluffs since 2008, and I've longed for a property development like the one that's being proposed. I know that Granville will develop a wonderful property, and it should be satisfactory to everybody who lives in the neighborhood. I have traveled the country from coast to coast and border to border, and have lived in 10 states, and I can tell you that with absolute certainty that a property undeveloped is one that will be developed eventually, and not always to the satisfaction of the property owners. When you have a stand-up person like Granville saying that they want to do this, I recommend you go for it.
Thank you.
Next up is Mike. Mike, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, could you please mute that one? We'll move on to the next person.
Next is Ahmed.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi. This is Ahmad Imami. I'm a physician, primary care, and I have a property in that area close to that place that's going to be a gas station. And I really don't have any problem because I have also another property that I live in myself. The other one is my son is living there. And I have 2 gas stations close by. I'm in Chestnut and Beheimer. I have 1 gas station in Maple and Beheimer, and the one in Perrine and Somerville. And there is really no problem. In this past several years, this house, my price of the house has been twice as the time that I bought it, and I never has been going down because there is 2 gas stations to side of my house. And it's really nice for me if I want to go out and I don't have a gas can, just stop by and I get a few gallons, even if I don't want to use that gas station all the time. But it has been several times in the past few years that I just get home and in the morning I say, oh my God, my gas is empty. And I needed to get something right away before I get to my main gas station that I always go. And I go there. There's a coffee shop in there. I can stop by and get a coffee in my way to go to work. It's just the other restaurant in there, and that pizza place is there. It's really more convenient for us that we don't have to drive too far and go getting the stuff. I can use our neighborhood and use it. And that is a really thing that's going to be, and also none of those things that is in my neighborhood right now, they are as beautiful as the one that is going to be in Copper River neighborhood, that shopping center is. I think it's going to be a great access to all of the housing there. And I'm moving to that area myself in the next few months, buying a new house in there. And I'd love to have that in that place.
Thank you.
Next is Alana. Alana, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Alana Lonis. I'm a new home buyer in the Copper River Ranch area. I just want to say that I think that this is going to add tremendous value to the area. into our community. And I'm 100% in support of this proposal. I think that ultimately, you know, the good outweigh the bad with this proposal. And I think it's going to add a lot of convenience to our area, and it's definitely going to be an asset. So I'm fully in support of the beautiful vision that Granville Homes has to improve our area and to provide us with additional amenities. Thank you, and I fully support this plan.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tara. Tara, you've been allowed to unmute yourself.
Thank you. My name is Terralyn Gray, Chief Executive Officer of the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce and Chamber Foundation. And I just have a few brief remarks. This development is a gorgeous development, and we need more developments like this in other parts of the city. Granville has built successfully downtown, and it's my hope that once they are done with this development, that they will turn to the southwest and southeast parts of the city to do similar kinds of developments. I'm in support of this project and would encourage the Planning Commission to approve it. Thank you.
Next, we have John. John, you should be able to unmute yourself. John, can you unmute yourself? Going once, going twice, 3 times. Next up, we have MB135224. Please identify yourself.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Could you state your name, please?
Yes, my name is Mary Brody. I'm not sure why this came up like this, but anyway, my name is Mary Brody. I'm one of the opponents. I wanted to raise the concern about the setup.
Okay, I've muted you. Please raise your hand when we call for people that are opposed to this. Again, this is just in favor, and we have one last hand up. Actually, one last hand up. NCEC. Oh, they put their hand down too. I think we are done with the people that are in favor.
Okay, so anyone
Nope.
No, we're not.
Well, the hands are going up and down, so it's kind of hard to tell. If you're not in favor, please keep your hands down. You will be asked to raise your hands in a moment. We're trying to identify only people that are in favor of this. I've got 2 hands that are still up.
Gavin, just to clarify for the audience, there will be an opportunity for those in opposition to speak right after this. So if you're in opposition, just hang tight. You will have an opportunity.
Can we have the next person in favor, please?
Vanita, I'm allowing you to unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Planning Commission, for giving me this opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Vanita Beji, and I live on the Copper Millbrook side of Fugman Elementary. You heard my husband speak earlier tonight, and I'd like to reiterate everything that he said. We have 3 children. We live a very active lifestyle. We ride bikes, walk, scooters to both Woodward Park and Copper River along the trails. And we're more than excited to have a market and a gas station along the same network. As a mom and working professional, sometimes I'm late at work, early at work. Convenience is everything for me. We love the neighborhood and what Granville has done with Copper River. And we trust them to build a project that is fitting for the neighborhood. And when you think about it, when you have family who come into town and you want to show off Fresno, where do you go? It's most likely Copper River to show them what we have here. It's a great community. And I know that the Granville team and Darius is going to do a great job at putting that marketplace together. And just like to show our support tonight and welcome the proposed project for our family and neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we have one more in favor.
Yes, we're going to try John again. John, have you got your audio taken care of? You're being allowed to unmute. Nope, your audio is still bad, John.
Okay, so we will move to those in, is that one more in favor or are we in opposition now?
I would assume it's opposition. They seem to be quite eager to get their hands up.
Okay, so we'll move to the first person in
Chair,
opposition.
Chair Bray,
Yes.
point of order. May I ask for a 5-minute recess for everyone?
Oh, you're right. We were going to do that. Thank you.
And Chair Bray, if I may, staff would like to request that Don Mooney, as the formal appellant, be given the first opportunity to speak in relation to the opposition, please.
Pardon, I didn't quite hear you.
Don Mooney, as the formal appellant, staff would like to give him the opportunity to speak first in opposition, please.
Of course. So we'll take a 5-minute break. So we'll be back here at 8:04 or 8:05. I'll give you 6 minutes. Hi. We just got through, I told you I have one thing tonight. We just got through.
You're not on mute.
Chair Bray.
Oh, okay. I tried to put it on mute. Hold on.
Chair Bray, this is Deborah. I'm
Yes, Deborah.
back, but I'm gonna leave my camera off. I'm having.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, I turned mine off because I had to do my yoga for a minute. So. Okay, it's 8:06, so I'd like to resume all of the commissioners back.
Good to go on my end.
Are you good? Commissioner Hardy, are you back?
Back and ready. Thank you.
All righty, let's go. Okay, so I believe now we have opportunity for anyone who is opposed to this project. And staff asked that one gentleman, I believe it was Mr. Mooney.
Don Mooney.
Yes, be able to speak first. So we're going to grant that. Mr. Mooney.
Mr. Mooney, you can unmute yourself now.
Thank you. And I'm assuming you can all hear me well.
Yes.
My name is Don Mooney. I'm an attorney on behalf of Fresno Healthy Neighborhood Alliance, and who is the appellant in this matter. And I sent you all a letter today as well on this. And I just wanted, I don't have a lot to add, and I will try to keep this, the time limited here. But I just wanted to point out, as you hear, especially as you hear the opposition comments that are being made, that will be made here today, as well as the numerous letters of opposition that have been submitted, that those all do constitute evidence to the record that can be used in evaluating the findings that you have to make. And as I indicated in my letter, specifically with regards to the finding C under section 15-5306, requiring a finding that it's that there won't be any adverse impacts to the public welfare, public health, safety, and things of that nature. That if the Planning Commission is inclined to grant this appeal, especially after hearing the opposition, that a finding based upon the testimony that's being provided would that the substantial evidence, the evidence that's being presented to you today and tonight and has been presented, would be sufficient to uphold a finding, or that the commission does not find that there would be adverse impact. I think I kind of said that a little with a double negative, but that's kind of how the section is written. So I would just ask the commission to keep an open mind as they listen to these concerns, because they are valid concerns about people that are living in that neighborhood. And I want to make one comment about that Mr. Wanger said about that the people that are opposing this don't live in, are not residents of Fresno. I don't know if that was taken at me, because I live up in Davis. That's where my office is. but my clients are all from Fresno. The people that are opposing this are residents, and so I thought that was a little. I'm not sure if that was kind of directed at me as being an attorney being an attorney outside the area, but I do represent the residents of Fresno, residents in Fresno in this matter. So again, please look at the substantial evidence and the testimony that's going to be considered here. And when you're making the findings with respect to especially subsection C, please take into consideration these findings, the testimony that's being provided here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Steve. Steve, I'm allowing you to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Steve O'Hara. I live directly across the street at Kensington Square, and I wanted to say thanks a lot for commissioners. I know you're giving up your own family time, Mr. Semi. I know that's you did a great presentation. My main opposition is based on the excessive lights and additional traffic, short-term traffic that's going to be coming in and out of a gas station. And, it's going to be directly outside of my, my front door, essentially. And so I was born and raised here. I grew up down at the end of Copper Avenue. So I've been here about 52 years, and I built the house in 2005 when this development was just being put together. It was a very quiet neighborhood at that time. We've got great neighbors, and I really feel like a gas station is going to cause issues with, again, additional lighting, additional traffic. I understand progress has to happen. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to ride my bike through the walnut orchard that used to be this development. I just want to speak in opposition due to those facts. Thanks so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. Next, we have Cinna. Allowing you to unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, planning commissioners. It is an honor to speak with you all today. I know everyone is tired, so thank you for listening to our concerns. My name is Sina Abedi. I am a resident here at Copper River. I was recently accepted to medical school and will begin class in the fall of 2021. As a Fresno native, I hope to return here and serve the Central Valley, but I'm not sure about my future peers and colleagues. As Fresno residents, are we truly doing everything in our power to make this city desirable? A new study found that Fresno ranked second to last in the number of physicians per 100,000 people in California, and is losing an average of 150 physicians here in Fresno due to retirement. If a physician is deciding on a location to move to serve and raise his or her family, what qualities do they look for? Safety, location, the city's emphasis on community, the city's past decisions to support their community. I do not believe that the decision to accept the construction of 3 gas stations and 4 liquor stores within a 1-mile radius of Copper and Maple aligns with the idea of a safe, community-focused city. This decision today should not only be made with consideration of the city's current residents, but also for those who will be looking for a place to call home in the future. Please don't contribute to the city's downfall and dissuade future generations of physicians from calling Fresno their home. We're already a medically underserved community and should focus on creating desirable neighborhoods to attract more medical professionals, not ruining them with the saturation of gas stations like what has happened and occurred in other parts of Fresno. We can't easily undo the saturation of gas stations in most parts of Fresno. However, your decision today can help prevent the same issue from repeating itself here in Copper River. No kid deserves to grow up next to a 24/7 gas station. A community-focused marketplace without a gas station is a step in the right direction. Thank you all for your time.
10 seconds.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next is Kristen. Kristen, you're being allowed to unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello.
Commissioners, I am Kristen Safian and reside within Copper River Ranch.
My main concern with this project is that there are already enough gas station convenience store locations in close proximity to Copper River Ranch. If this development is approved, there will be 4 gas stations within 1 mile from each way of this project. I am all for development and bringing business into Copper River Ranch, but please make it based off of need. In this case, a gas station convenience store is not needed. It will only hurt the community. It is not a walkable development when gas trucks and vehicles are coming and going through the bike path. When you are walking by the location that has flammable material signs posted on locked cabinets, as seen by one of the newest gas stations I visited by the Fresno airport. Gas spills from overfilling tanks, not to mention the numerous ill effects of gas stations nestled within residential communities. The community that surrounds this project has a large portion of residents who have electric vehicles and have no need for a gas pump. California is pushing to be more environmentally friendly and cut back on gasoline vehicles and move forward towards the future with electric charging stations, not more gas stations. The need to have 2 gas stations within 0.8 miles of each other on Copper Drive, with the other 2 1 mile south, is none. No need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Christian. Christian, you're being allowed to unmute yourself.
Hello, my name is Christian Saving. That was just my wife speaking. But yeah, I've lived in the I'm an orthopedic surgeon in Fresno. I've lived in Copper River area.
Christian, I'm not sure everyone can hear you.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to a different part of my house first. Can you hear me now?
It's a little difficult, but I think we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, I'll start over. So my name is Christian Safian, and that was my wife who was speaking earlier. I'm an orthopedic surgeon in Fresno, and I've been in Copper River area for about 11 years now. And, you know, I'm opposed to the project. Again, I just think the people that have been opposed to it have been somewhat misconstrued. We're all, to my knowledge, we're all homeowners. We all care about our neighborhood. We have no personal vendetta against Granville.
Christian, you went away again.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Sorry, my internet's not that good here. Yeah, we're all homeowners. Those of us opposed to it. We care about our neighborhood, and we don't think adding a gas station, 24-hour convenience store is really what our vision is for our neighborhood. And you know, as has been said before, there's already a gas station that's going to be put in at Copper and Friant. There's already been another one approved at Maple and Beeheimer, and these are all within a 2-mile radius of the proposed site. I've also heard that they're planning on putting a gas station at Willow and Copper at some point. So again, I think oversaturation is an issue. Of course, the increase in crime is a concern. Vagrancy is a concern. Light pollution, traffic. I mean, these are all concerns. And I have a young son. Most of us have families and children that go to school in the area and use the walking paths and bike paths. So again, it's nothing personal. We do want businesses to be in the area. We want to have a market. We want to have restaurants, but I just don't think that a gas station and convenience store really fits the vision that we have for a neighborhood that we love. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jim. Jim, you're being allowed to unmute yourself. Jim, are you there?
Hi, yeah. My name is Dr. Jim Thugman. I'm the former Deputy Superintendent of the Clovis Unified School District. I'm in opposition of this. I'm concerned about the safety of their children at Thugman Elementary School, crossing a 50-mile-an-hour expressway to get chips and candy and things like that. I think it's been very well spoken that we have a multitude of fueling stations. One's been approved at Friant and Copper. There's just been a new fueling station approved across on Beeheimer and Maple. And it just seems to me like having 4 fueling stations within a mile is a little bit of overkill. The other thing in education, we often talked about what impacts our students as positive addictors or negative addictors. And positive addictors are things like co-curricular activities and science fair and history day and things of that nature. And negative addictors are things like convenience stores. Now, I know that we said that there's 2 to 6% crime rate, but that isn't anywhere near of the types of activities that happen at convenience stores, and no less than a 24-hour convenience store. And I would suggest to the Planning Commission that this does not serve the Copper River community, a fueling station and a 24-hour convenience store. It's going to serve a transit community. We have plenty of options for fueling. We have Rite Aid. I know that there's been a Starbucks that's just been approved on the east side of Maple Avenue. And so I just think—
Seconds, please.
Let's get back into the positive addiction and stay away from these negative things. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next up is My Rodri. I'm allowing you to unmute yourself.
Hello, I'm Margaret Rodriguez. I live in Kensington Square, right across where this is going to be developed. My concern and my husband's concern is the fact that we're going to be in ground zero looking at this and dealing with the traffic, and I'm a middle school teacher and kids like to congregate, and I do have concerns about children, their safety, the traffic, and being out at night. And middle school kids, that's what they do. They group together, high school kids, and I'm just really concerned about their safety, but I'm also concerned about having 4 gas pumps just right across the street, and it's an eyesore. I just think you have to keep the Jewel unique, and this is a unique area, and it's a great area to raise a family, but you're opening yourself up to problems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Subhi. Subhi, I want you to unmute yourself.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? Everything is good?
Yes.
Good. Okay, I just want to say that when I hear this gas station, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody in opposition for Granville to develop anything. Granville, I own Granville home, but to build a gas station, and there is a gas station approved on Bryant and Copper. There is one here too. There is one in Beheimer. There is one in Somerville. There is 4 or 5 gas stations here. We need to think about what we approve. About maybe 15 or 22 years ago, I applied for liquor license in the city of Freedley because I was interested in buying convenience store. They denied me my liquor license. They say there is an elementary school right there. There is a liquor license right there. There is a convenience store right there. Why can't we apply the same method, same philosophy to the small city of Freedley, that when I apply for liquor license, they said, no, sorry, we can't do that, because there is an elementary school. There is a Fogman Elementary School in less than 1,000 feet from that gas station and less than 800 feet from the one approved on Copper and Bryant. How many gas stations that we need, and how many like convenience stores that we need? If they want to build a marketplace, a grocery store, small restaurant, nice, something like that, gift shop, that's fine. But a gas station, why? People live in Copper River, and where we live right here, 90% of the people doesn't need gas. They all drive Tesla and a Prius and hybrid and electric car. And why do we need gas? We don't need gas. If you care about pollution, and you said to us, don't burn wood stove, don't burn wood, don't do this, don't do that.
10 seconds, please.
So that means this project should be stopped.
Thank you.
Last name McDonald. Please identify yourself.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
I think this gas station is pretty bad.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Anthony. Anthony, you've been allowed to unmute yourself. Anthony. Anthony, are you there? Going once, twice. Next up, we have Jay. Jay, you're being allowed to unmute yourself. Jay, can you please unmute yourself? Going once, twice. Okay, next we have Bobby. Bobby, can you unmute yourself? Hey, the night is bringing out the fun. Marie, can you unmute yourself?
Good evening. My name is Mary Brody. Thanks for taking the time. I know it has been a late night, so thank you. Appreciate your time to listen to us. Like I said, my name is Mary Brody. I live in One Opus Drive community, just south of the proposed project, actually about 600 feet of the proposed gas station. So when I heard about the gas station, and as the city notice said, it was a 24/7 store requesting to sell alcohol as well. We were shocked, extremely shocked and disappointed that even such project would be considered on this corner. I was even more disappointed to hear that Granville wants to build it because they're not known for building gas station and liquor stores. I mean, we love their houses. I know Mr. Asami and his family, and we have a lot of respect and appreciation for their great work, but we had multiple meetings with him and Mr. Bitterfield. We approached these meetings with a lot of hope for compromise and offered many, such as limiting the hours of those stores, similar to Rite Aid, which is close by, from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. But he didn't seem to budge, insisting that pursuing 24/7, it's safer. I mean, reasons that wouldn't really make sense. I didn't seem that he has any plan to change his project. Many of us have been writing. If you look at the attachment, there's 141 pages of letters of residents greatly concerned with valid concerns about this project. As you know, it has been mentioned, but I can't emphasize enough that there is one new gas station coming up, already approved on Front and Copper, less than half a mile away from this proposed project. What is going on in Fresno? Are we needing gas station on every corner? Is that the route we're going? I know I don't blame developers. They're going to continue to do what's best for their business, and they should. But our question is to you, our request is to you. We know that this land is zoned for commercial, is going to be built, and we would love Granville to build it, but we are against the gas station. That's the main message. And the 24/7 hour operation request is a big concern to us. A gas station will not make our neighborhood more walkable as advertised, who nobody is going to walk to a gas station. We welcome responsible development, something that would benefit us, and would definitely not put our kids and family that are going to walk and bike around that bike path in danger. Please consider our concerns, hear us out. We don't need a gas station on every corner of this area. And then I have another question, because I know
10 seconds, please.
I just have a question I would hope to answer, maybe from developer or their representative, because they keep saying that this doesn't include liquor store, but they could come back and request the liquor store license later, right? So are they promising not to then apply for liquor store? Is that a promise? We would like to get an answer on that too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Snugne, you're being allowed to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I am a physician, and I have been living in this area for 12 years. I actually can see out of my window and I can see this development. So it is very near from our home. We have moved here from East Coast and we have lived in several states, and we have lived in very nice community. When I was doing research, Fresno is probably the largest city nobody has heard out of California. We did extensive research between Sacramento to Grapevine. I believe Fresno is really one of the best city to live in. We live in very nice neighborhood. When we built home here, we did not really realize that there are a lot of vacant plots, but we did not realize that there will come a time when there will be a proposal of 4 or 5 gas stations within 1 mile. We really do not need gas station. We do not need a 24-hour open convenience store. It will bring a lot of traffic, a lot of noise, light, and potential for crime. Now, I heard that the developer are going to have security and lights, but that will just protect that premise. It will not protect neighborhood around it. We will not have security in our neighborhood. Also, it's not true that we will need to drive 20 minutes to get gas. There are several gas stations on Maple and Chestnut, and I have rarely needed to use any of them. There are lots of opportunity to get like a grocery and other things. We are not opposed of development. We are not opposing good business. We wish that there are more gym or a good grocery store, bank, anything that is actually healthy and that is promoting health and well-being of community. That should not include 4 or 5 gas stations within 1 mile. Couple of them are even going to be bigger than this proposed gas station. We also heard from attorney, from developer about like a benign nature of this gas station and all the chemicals that can leak. It's not true. There are several studies showing that how dangerous this like a chemical
10 seconds, please.
Coming out of gas tank and nozzle can be, particular benzene and hexane, proven to be hazardous, particularly in neighborhood. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next, we have Z Zabini. You're allowed to unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, good evening. My name is Zara Zabihi. I live in Tuscan Bluff North on this project. I'm sharing my concerns and opposition to this project. We know that a gas station in this area on Fryan and Copper is approved. There is one on Beheimer and Maple also. So we have 2 gas stations already. Granville wants to add another one, which will make it less safe for walking on the existing walking trail. They came to our door and said, no, it's not a gas station project, and want me to sign their paper. And on the other hand, Fugma Elementary is near to this project, and it would be a menace to our children. We all support the grocery market, but not another gas station. Thank you for listening my concern.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sam. Sam, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
You hear me?
Yes.
All right, good evening. My name is Sam. I'm living with my family in a Wanapus Drive, just south of this project. We have the major concern about the safety issue and the health risk that this gas station would bring to the neighbor. We moved to this location like 10 years ago, just because of this was a peaceful area. It was a peaceful area of this town. And I think there's no need to add another gas station to the neighbor. We have already one on the Beheimer, and there's another one gonna build around the Copper. So yeah, I think it's not necessary to build another gas station in the neighbor. It's gotta be too much for that. And thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dan. Dan, you're being allowed to unmute yourself. Actually, Dan, you're using an old version of Zoom that doesn't allow you to speak. Our only option would be to have you install the new version and come back, or dial in via the telephone. But the current version you have is not supported anymore. Next, we have Oscar.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for your time. My name is Oscar Young, and I'm a physician here in Fresno and lived at Copper Ridge for the past 8 years. I have a family of 6, and we've made Copper River our home. I'm not opposed to a walkable marketplace with coffee shops, stores, and places to meet and social distance together. I'm not opposed to progress, and I'm optimistic for the growth in our community. I am opposed to the bundling of a 4-pump gas station in the marketplace. Mr. Simi can build beautiful commercial properties that can thrive without a gas station. There is no need for another gas station. There has been little awareness that a gas station will be built on Copper and Friant. This is the same Copper and Friant intersection where everyone's families can get gas on the way back home or be able to get gas on the way to or coming from work. This gas station is the future waypoints for family trips to Millerton Lake and Yosemite. There is no need for another gas station within our community. Let Mr. Simi build our walkable marketplace and leave the already existing planned gas stations within 1.5 miles from each other to serve their continuing purpose. Drag racing is an issue in our neighborhood. This gas station is proposing 24/7 service to this dangerous activity and our family-oriented community. Not only do racers have a third option for gasoline, but they now have a proposed one available to them at any time of the day or night. Our community would welcome a corner grocery store and not a gas station convenience store claiming itself as a neighborhood market in an already gasoline saturated area. I'm not opposed to a walkable, well-designed corner market area, just don't include the gas station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Giovanni. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, hello.
Yes, we hear you.
Hi, my name is Giovanni Laird. I'm a pharmacist. I've lived in the Copper River neighborhood for about 7 years now, and I'm a Fresno native. And I grew up on the other side of town, lots of gas stations, nowhere to walk, nowhere near as beautiful. And when I moved here after school, I was excited to move into the Copper River neighborhood, and I have small children and we go on walks. And I know that this has been reiterated a bunch of times already, but we don't need more gas stations. And I, support the market and the other plans that they have there. But gas stations, I have yet to think of a beautiful gas station that I've ever seen. So please, not here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sal Hong.
Hey, I spoke in the other section, but can I just add a point here?
I believe, Raj, we just have one person, each person one time. Is that correct?
Yes, I think given the constraints tonight, since the speaker has already spoken.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next, Halloran.
Hi, my name is Hala Arian. I have lived in Copper River Ranch with my husband and 2 kids since 2007. I'm here to express my opposition specifically to the gas station portion of this plan. There are, in my opinion, too many gas stations planned for this part of the city. We currently have 2 within 3 miles of us, and there's another one approved for construction nearby at Copper and Willow. I'm concerned about environmental pollution, and I do not believe that an upscale market requires a gas station in order to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Kathleen. You're being allowed to unmute yourself.
Great, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So my name is Kathleen DeCunha. I've been a resident of the Copper River community for 8 years. As you have heard, there are many reasons for the broad community objection to the approval of developing a gas station and convenience store on the northwest corner of Copper and Maple. But I want to be very clear. This is not a market. It's a convenience store. And out of respect for the commission's time, I'm going to specifically focus my time on the issue of crime and the risk to our community of an increase in the crime rate that this proposed development presents. The developer has attempted to downplay our concerns about crime by stating that the residential robbery risk is higher than that of a gas station and convenience store. While that might be true, our concern also centers around who this 24/7 gas station and convenience store will attract to our neighborhood, especially during the late evening and early morning hours, and an increase in crime in the surrounding residential area. Mr. Assimi asserted earlier this evening that bright 24-hour lighting would be implemented to combat crime. And thank you, Commissioner Hardy. I appreciate your questions about this. These actions add night sky pollution concerns to our quiet North Fresno neighborhood and further degradation to our quality of life in the community. The Copper River community has already a problem with home burglaries. My home has in fact been burglarized once in the time that I've lived here. We do understand that implicit to home ownership is the assumption of some risk, but that is risk we accept because we choose to own a home. Along those same lines, were the developer to propose an actual grocery store, we would accept any associated risk that comes along with that. But the community does not want or need a gas station and convenience store, and therefore the amount of acceptable risk we are willing to assume is zero. I want to conclude by reiterating that a 24/7 gas station is a magnet for crime. The residential communities surrounding the proposed development, who I am representing here this evening, strongly oppose this development. I'm urging the Planning Committee to overturn approval of the proposed site development. Approval of this establishment will have a significant negative impact on the quality of life in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Heather. Heather, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hello.
I raised my hand the first time, and I'm actually for this project. I'm not against this project. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands. So we live at Copper River as well. We do not own a Granville home, but I would like to point out that what Granville Homes has done, just the community in general, all of the palm trees along the walking paths. There's no place. I have a family of three. I have a family of five, 3 daughters, and there's no place for my children to go pick up something to eat that's close by and walking or bike riding distance other than the country club. So with all the restaurants being closed and the market being there, it's much more convenient. And I feel that Granville would do a great job as far as the aesthetics of making sure that everything looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jeff. I'm allowing you to unmute yourself.
Thank you. Commissioners, thank you for listening to our concerns. My name is Jeff Single, resident of Kensington Square for about 15 years now. I've heard many good reasons to oppose the project, which I do oppose the project, in particular the gas station convenience store element. What we see there is certainly there's no need for gas station 24-hour convenience store in this area because we're already well supplied. Secondly, there's going to be a lot more activity, traffic, bright night lights, and potentially undesirable activity and influences in the neighborhood. Other places I've lived and friends have lived in Fresno that have high density of gas stations and convenience stores don't really seem to benefit and be uplifted by that high density of such places. And finally, this is a gas station is a very high traffic business. And you've got 2 driveways that are intersecting the pedestrian bicycle trail. A gas station in that complex, in addition to the other businesses, would simply add incredibly more traffic and hazard to pedestrians and bicyclists, families using that trail. which I think would be a large mistake on top of the rest of them. So again, thank you for your time and patience listening to our concerns.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jay. Jay, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, hi, good evening. Thanks for listening to me. I live in this neighborhood right across this proposed gas station, actually, from last 6 years with my family. And I'm in this business, actually. I'm in a gas station business, and I own several gas stations here in Fresno. And I can understand, the problems comes with the gas station. And I understand a lot of people, thinking of the convenience of the gas station, they'll be buying gas, going to work. But I think they are not aware of there is a gas station coming right on Copper and Friant already, and it's approved already. Since I'm in this business, there's just so much vagrancy and crime, problems here in Fresno already from last few years. And I'm sure all those crimes and that vagrancy will come here with this gas station. I'm all in for the, the development they're doing, but we do not need another gas station. They are saying that this is just a small gas station, but they are forgetting this 4 dispensers can pump more than 2 million gallons in a year. And this is not a small gas station. So I'm against this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Janelle. Janelle, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Hi, I'm Janelle Menace, and I've lived in the Granville neighborhood now for 15 years. And I've raised my 3 children in this neighborhood. And so we love our Granville neighborhood. I'm not opposed to having a marketplace or nice restaurants, a coffee shop, but I am opposed to having an additional gas station. Since there's going to be another gas station, as we have reiterated, on Copper and Friant. I live towards that end of the Granville neighborhood. I really honestly don't see that the gas station that's being proposed is an anchoring point for the marketplace, because I can guarantee you that all the other Granville neighbors and will use the marketplace without the convenience store and the gas station. I just have concerns for the safety of our kids. I raised my kids in Fugman and Granville, in Granite Ridge and Copper, in the Copper area and Clovis North. So I have concerns about the walking path and the walking trails. And so I honestly don't think that another gas station within 2 miles of each other is going to be very helpful for this neighborhood. I do have concerns of crime, vagrancy, and loitering. I'm witness to where I'm living here, right behind us, right by the park. The park is public property. If there is any kind of concerns with any kind of loitering and drug use and so forth, I have called multiple times to Granville to plead with the police officers to do something about that. Granville had their hands tied and they really couldn't do anything. So I'm hoping that our security will be reassured with whatever kind of developments. So thank you again for listening to my concerns.
Thank you.
Next, we have Russell. Russell, you're being allowed to unmute yourself.
I oppose. Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, so I don't think this gas station is right, because people will start vaping from it, and a ton of crime will come from that, and that's a pretty big health risk next to a school. So that's why.
Thank you, Russell.
Next, we have Stephen. Stephen, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, we hear you.
Uh, yeah, just like the other guy said. There's gas stations sell puff bars. That's not healthy for the schools. Because a lot of kids like to vape, and that's not good. Gas stations also sell alcohol, man. They sell alcohol. My grandpa is an addict.
Thanks, Stephen. Next is Jason.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, my name is
Hold
Janelle.
on. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Janelle and I'm here with my husband, Jason. We would like to thank the Planning Commission for the time to hear our concerns about the proposed gas station on Copper Avenue. We've heard several times tonight that this gas station will not increase traffic. That just doesn't make any sense. We live at 1696 East Banwell Lane in the Kensington Square neighborhood. The proposed gas station and convenience store will be directly across the street from our home, as our backyard is backed up against Copper. There are 36 of my neighbors along with us who have signed a petition, which is the vast majority opposing this development. We oppose it because the close proximity, which threatens the safety and health of our community, our families, and our children. We appreciate Mr. Asimi's story, but we have a story of our own. My husband grew up in a trailer on a truck lot, and I grew up food insecure, oftentimes going to sleep to curb my hunger. We became successful and we made Fresno our home. We worked endless hours and sacrificed to purchase our home in this neighborhood. We don't want that dream that we worked for to build destroyed. This gas station will destroy our dream home. Please don't approve this project.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have Anthony. Anthony, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, sorry, mic problems before. I'm back on.
No, good.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'm Anthony Yu. I live at One Opus, that would be across from the proposed site. I won't beat you over the head with a lot of the great arguments we've heard. And I want to say I appreciate those who have spoken in favor. A lot of the healthcare workers, I understand where you guys are coming from. This is obviously a topic of controversy with passionate opinions on both sides. And I appreciate where everybody's coming from. What's been said here over and over again for the last hour is that we are looking at a situation of 3 gas stations and 4 liquor stores that either already exist or have been approved within 1 mile of Copper and Maple. So this project will be the 4th gas station and 5th store. And so Commission, we were asking for your help. And why? Because of a lot of the glaring problems that come with gas stations. We just heard from a gas station purveyor himself. Gas stations and convenience stores, they're beacons for crime and pollution. That's not up for debate. And who suffers from these ills? The developer, the planning department? No, it's the families who live across the street. It's the kids who are walking by on their way to Fugman Elementary School. It's the cyclists and joggers who use the paved trail on the north end of Copper that will now become the driveway for a gas station. And why? Because for some reason we need 2 gas stations within 30 seconds of each other. We're not anti-business. We're in fact quite the opposite. We support the creation of a thriving commercial center. We have all known that this land was slated for commercial use. That's no surprise. And we welcomed it because we were promised a grocery store, restaurants, businesses commensurate with the standard of the community. A gas station and 24-hour convenience store failed to meet that promise. And so again, I'm asking for your help. There's more at stake than just the fate of this development. To me, the future of Copper River is on the line. If this gets approved, what's next? Well, we already know that Johnny Quick was waiting in line. Thank you to Sam, who leases that center. But I'm not sure that means that Johnny Quick has gone away. I think they're watching here, and they could be number 5 and number 6, and then 6 and 7. The next
10 seconds, please.
down the street. This is why the Responsible Neighborhood Market Act was passed, right? To protect Fresno from liquor stores and gas stations. We want parks, developments that enhance community, an actual grocery store. That's the future. Approval of this is a step to the past. So please deny. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Robert.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Hello, my name is Robert Hills. I live within 5 minutes walking of this proposed gas station and convenience store. And my opposition to this is the fact that number one, there's no need for a gas station. Everybody realizes that. Number two, this is not a market that's going to be a healthy market. This is a convenience store. When you Google what convenience stores sell, number one is tobacco products. Number two is beverage and wine. Number three is lottery tickets. And number four is soda. And number five is junk food. We already have a Rite Aid right across the street that can supply all these items that are unhealthy for us at this time. So we don't really need another convenience store, even though this is proposed as a healthy market, but yet it's a convenience store. All this does is it just creates urban sprawl going further and further towards the Shaver Lake. So, and we already have another market. We already have a gas station and market going in at Copper and Frying. So there's absolutely no need for this. So I asked the commission to vote against this gas station and convenience store because the people of this community do not want it. And it was already established that it wasn't wanted at a meeting at Food Elementary School where Darius asked about 75 people there if they wanted a gas station there. And only 2 people wanted it. It was unanimous that nobody wanted a gas station. And so I don't even know why this is on the table at this point, but I ask you
10 seconds, please.
I ask you to vote against it. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next, we've got Carly. Carly, you've been allowed to unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you. My name is Carly Yu. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
My name is Carly Yu. I live in One Opus, which is directly across the street from this development. I am a nurse and mother to 2 young daughters, ages 1 and 3. I oppose this development because it threatens the safety of my children. In the Zoom meetings that we had with the developer, he mentioned when this first was proposed, we heard firsthand that this convenience store is going to sell alcohol and cigarettes. I did some research. There's really good evidence that kids who pass by a liquor store on the way to school are more likely to be exposed to alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs and witness drug selling and using. We have several Fugman children in our neighborhood, and my girls will also attend Fugman when they are old enough, but the presence of this gas station will prohibit that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have Mazen. Mazen, you've been allowed to unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Mazen, and I live in Kensington Square, which is right across from this project. You know, this is not a grocery store. This is a mini mart, 24 hours gas station, and I worry about my kids. I have 3 kids. I worry about their safety. I worry about the increase in crime, increase in traffic and pollution in this area. And I just like to say many of those that spoke in favor of this project, they don't even live here. I personally know a lot of them. I kind of heard them. So I urge you to vote no on this project. And thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there anyone else in opposition to this project? We have 1 hand raised, Gavin.
Paratrap.
Yeah, hi everyone, planning commissioners. Appreciate you guys like staying late and listening to both sides. I mean, like I'm listening to all of the comments, and I totally agree with. I mean, first of all, I'd like to state that I'm opposed to this for one simple reason. Okay, and the development aspect of it, absolutely no opposition on that. And what I do not seem to understand is just about like the gas station aspect of it. I mean, like, you know, a typical gas station in my mind, from an economic standpoint, the margins are really coming from the convenience store aspect of it. I already live pretty close to it. I live in the One Opus Drive, and I kind of like, swing by the Beeheimer and Maple all the time. And there is like, there is all kinds of activity that happens there with kids. I mean, like, I just don't see that being replicated again and again. Please, I mean, we're just providing some more options for people to hang out for kids. So I honestly, for those reasons, I feel it is unsafe and not the right thing to do.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in opposition? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the hearing and take this back to the commissioners. I would like to thank all of the people who took the time this evening. The commissioners aren't the only ones staying up late. And we really appreciate that people in the community care on both sides. So I really respect you, and we thank you for voicing your opinion on this and trying to be here to help us with this decision. So take it back to the commissioners. Are there any comments?
Commissioner Bray?
Yes.
You may allow the applicant to rebut.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
And then also staff.
I'm getting old, Raj. I forgot about that part.
It's just late.
Can we have a, no, I'm really cool. I stay up late all the time. Can we have a rebuttal from the applicant, or does he wish to present one?
Darius, you can unmute yourself now.
Okay, commissioners, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can we also again share screen?
For the woman, you also need to do after glory Darius.
Darius, you've been promoted to a panelist. You should be able to share your screen. And you're going to have to unmute yourself again. I'm sorry. Darius, if you're talking, we are unable to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
there you go.
Now.
John Kinsey is going to make a few comments to address some of the questions that were brought up, and then I'm going to have a very short, brief few comments as well.
So thank you very much, commissioners. I know it's been a late evening, so I'll be brief. This is John Kinsey. There were some comments raised concerning air quality and vehicle emissions asthma. Staff looked at this very carefully. It's on pages 4 and 5 of the EA, the environmental assessment. Criteria pollutants are well below the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District thresholds. With respect to toxic air contaminants, those were also evaluated. Staff found no adverse effects and that everything was consistent with ARB and San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District requirements. Staff also looked at traffic. California looks at whether or not a project would increase or decrease vehicle miles traveled. And here staff found that it would actually result in a reduction of vehicle miles traveled. That's because this project brings services closer to the users. And the amount of traffic that is generated by this project is just a fraction of Copper Avenue's capacity. Last, we heard from a competing gas station operator about gas stations purportedly causing crime. Again, that's a self-serving statement. I think you should take that for what it's worth. The data does not support that assertion, but crime is ultimately the responsibility of the gas station operator. Granville's office is going to be next door, and Granville will not tolerate a bad operator.
Commissioners, again, the hour is late. Let me just make a few comments, if you can still hear me. Not enough doctors in our area in the valley. That's a really good point. One of the reasons we built a medical school, California Health Sciences University, is exactly that. I can tell you many of the folks that work at CHSU actually live at Copper River. Some in North Clovis, but many at Copper River. And I've talked to many folks that want to open up this market. We had 6, 7, 8 people that want to do this, open up this marketplace. The what you're seeing in your screen, none of them could make it financially feasible with a fuel station. Without a fuel station. None of them can make it work without having, let me put it this way, they need a fuel station to justify that, to justify having the market. This is not a convenience store. This is not a liquor tobacco store. This is something that's going to be, I'm going to be frequenting this place. My staff is going to be using it. My office is going to be a few hundred feet away from this place. The reason, again, I want to reiterate that we bought this property. I bought this property to make sure it's done right. The CCNRs that we're developing, one of the most restrictive in the community, in our area, to make sure it's well maintained, it looks attractive. We're not going to have signs all over the place. It's going to be very clean, very crisp. And I've communicated that in the more than 10 Zoom meetings that we've had with the neighborhood. We took this a step further and designed the inside. This is a concept that we've come up with that is new. Yes, correct. It's new to our area, but this is going to be evolutionary, and some people call it revolutionary. It's going to be combination of, sandwich shop, deli, fresh produce, fresh brewed coffee. You heard from several of the supporters of our project. They have 3 a.m. shifts. They want to stop here, get few goodies, get fresh brewed coffee, a pastry, a sandwich, and get their gas on their way to work. Again, without the gas station, the market doesn't work, and the two of them are the anchor for the rest of the shopping center. Everybody wants their restaurants. Yeah, we all do, but without this marketplace, I can't make the rest of it work. Nobody can. This property has sat empty since 2003. The original people that bought this place wanted to bring a grocery store here. They tried for 10 years. They could not attract the groceries. And people say, bring a grocery store. By the way, you want to increase traffic? You bring a grocery store. And the reason grocery stores don't want to come here is because there's no growth to the north of Copper River. To the west, there's a river. To the east is the county. So there's no more growth. So we can't get a grocery store. And everybody wants one of those, by the way. So I'm trying to bring the next best thing that will take care of 70 to 80% of people's needs. And that's a market. We spent the time, hired an architect to design the inside, because I heard the concerns from the neighbors. They go, hey, we don't want a convenience store. We don't want a liquor tobacco store. I don't want one either. I don't want one next door to my office. I don't want one in Copper River, where we've built over 800 homes. I wouldn't, even if we hadn't built any homes, I wouldn't want that. We want a first-class, attractive project. And my plan is to build these, you've heard from one of the speakers, in other parts of town as well. Bring the amenity, bring the convenience, bring the fresh produce, bring the coffee, the deli that people want. So the people that get off work late, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, on the way home, they can grab something and go home and eat. We have a lot of working folks. A lot of my homeowners are single, working, upper middle class or middle class people. They want to be able to stop in and get a few goodies. Okay. So again, we cannot make it work. Everybody wants a restaurant, outdoor dining. We get that. You can't make the shopping center work without the market, and you cannot get the market to work without a gas station. I can't. And those are the dynamics. I don't want to open up a market and have somebody come and open up a market only for it to fail a year later. That is a loud message to everybody that, hey, Copper River, we can't open anything up. We're already last and it's closed at Fort Washington. I don't want another failure. We've built over 40 years in this community. We know how to make stuff work. Trust us, we will do the right job. We are going to do the right job for the community. Then there's a question about, there's another one at Fryington Copper. That's for commuter traffic to the casino. That's right on the edge. Ours is a local store, local gas station to serve the immediate, neighborhood of Copper River. And by the way, if gas stations were not in demand, they wouldn't be successful. And I can tell you, over 85, 90% of them are open 24/7. And when the question came up about lighting, I'm very sensitive to that. I'm very sensitive to people. I don't want to create develop a property. I mean, for 40 years, by the way, most of you know this, Granville Homes is the most award-winning home builder developer in Central California, period. There's nobody that gets close to us because we do it right. We take the time to make sure we address the issues. And again, the other one is going to be taking care of commuter traffic to the casino and to the lake. Ours is a local. We're going to do a great job developing it. Oh, I'm sorry. In terms of lighting, we're going to have light shields. We're going to make sure this lighting doesn't impact. By the way, I have quite a few hundred homeowners that live directly north of this project. If we can go to the map, north of all a lot of the homes directly to the north of this project are Granville homeowners, and then there's custom homes on the other side. We're very sensitive to that. We're gonna have light shields. We're gonna have light studies to make sure that light does not pour into people's yards, backyards, front yards, etc. Why do we put an additional extra buffer of landscaping, as I showed you earlier, on Copper Avenue? Is again to make sure the project looks attractive. There's lush landscaping next to the trail, so the homeowners on the south side, they see lots of great landscaping, and then they see the great architecture that we've designed. Actually, if we can show the architecture as well. So we've designed the inside. Crime we've already addressed. Can we show the picture of the entire? Okay, no, on this. Okay. Again, if gas stations were not popular, they wouldn't get built. There's lots of folks that are not here this evening that they could have been here to tell you. Again, over 100 people want to show up and say, "Hey, we want this thing." And I said, "Listen, we have enough people speaking. I'm going to communicate to the planning commissioner. We have over 500 petitions signed, addresses verified of people that live in the immediate vicinity." We even have a map that shows all the people that have all the supporters. We've developed Copper River. My office is going to be a couple hundred feet across from this project. We're going to do a first-class job. And finally, let me just say this: I appreciate all the supporters that have spoken tonight, and I also appreciate, and I understand we're going to have opponents that have spoken, and I'm sensitive to all of their issues. We've worked hard to address it, and this is not the first project we've built, obviously. Over the 40 years that we've built projects, again, I can't reiterate this enough. I've had so many people walk up to me and say, "You know what, we oppose your project. You've built it. It's gorgeous. We're so sorry that we oppose your project." We've worked hard, and I am very confident that once this project is built, the opponents are going to be very satisfied with what we've delivered. Nobody has spent the time so far in designing this project. Nobody will spend the time making sure it's done right. Nobody will spend the money and the attention to detail of making sure this project, which is zoned commercial, and please remember that I'm not asking for land use. Somebody is going to develop this thing. Nobody will spend the time, the resources, because we have the highest amount of investment. We've developed Copper River. My office is going to be next door to it. I've built over 850 homes, and I have another 500 homes I'm going to build in this area. Why would I want to jeopardize my reputation because of a gas station? We're going to do a first-class job here. I'd be glad to answer any other questions you may have. Yes, Commissioner.
Darius, so the market design, so we've had several people, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've had obviously very emotional, I'll use the word testimony on both sides, but there have been several individuals in opposition speak to this market as a convenience store. So can you share with us a little bit about the market design, where it came from? I mean,
Yes.
share with us.
Yes, that's a great question, Commissioner. So we searched and deployed several people to find, let me back up. I wanted a local neighborhood market, that design. We searched, talked to brokers, talked to operators, talked to architects, multiple architects. I said, I want a very unique design. We actually found this, what you're seeing on the screen, we found in a design in Chicago. There's a chain of stores, local neighborhood markets that are built, in other cities, and then and also in the Bay Area. And the challenge with 40,000 square for grocery stores is that it takes a lot of rooftops, a lot of customers to justify getting one of those built. So what you will see going forward is smaller markets that can be built, in numerous parts across our beautiful city. Now, in many areas, they can't stand alone. They need a gas station to make it work. But so this design has come from studying multiple. We've poured hours, talked to maybe a dozen different consultants, operators, architects, interior designers, all of those folks to come up with a very unique design. This is really first of its kind. Again, this is a concept. Is it going to be 100% like this? I'm not sure. But whoever ends up building this, and more than likely, and I can't promise that today, we may be building the building potentially for the end user. Part of everybody that I've talked to, you should know this. 7, 8 different people that want to buy this property. This one area where the market, they want to buy and operate it. My requirements is you have to have fresh fruits, you have to have produce. You're not going to offer that, I don't have any interest in selling it to you. We want pastries, we want fresh brewed coffee, we want deli meats. Of course, I want to make sure they're profitable. I don't want somebody to open this up only to close it later. So we're working with them on what is the right ratio and mix of all these things that need to go into this thing. I've spent the time. We don't have any deals yet, and I'm reluctant to even mention these things. There's so many wonderful things we're working on that I don't have anything nailed down yet. But one of the things we're looking at is Fresno State produce. To bring Fresno State, we all love Fresno State corn. One of my goals is to have Fresno State corn available here. I've told you earlier, we're working with a farmer's market operator that as soon as we have approval, we're going to go get a permit at the city. With their approval, with their permit, is to start opening up a farmer's market. And one of the neighbors and residents told me, Darius, there's as much risk if you don't do it. People talk about, what is a gas station going to do? If you don't do it, what is the risk? What is somebody else going to do? What is that architecture going to look like? If there's not a gas station, are we going to be okay with a dollar store or a used thrift market? These are, by the way, all uses by right. We could open up a thrift. Somebody can open up a used thrift store here. Get in 6 months without any permit, any outreach, any community outreach. And quite honestly, that's why we bought it. The original developer said we cannot get a supermarket here. We've tried for 10 years. So they were looking at other uses. So I said, before you bring other uses to Copper River, put it on the market. Let's see let somebody else take this on. Because I hate to see all the amount of investment, not only we've made, our homeowners have made at Copper River, to all of a sudden have one of the gateways in the middle of Copper and Maple to have all kinds of, hodgepodge architecture, hodgepodge stores. We don't want that. And again, we know this adds walkability. This is exactly what our general plan calls out for, walkable. And you heard from many folks that even, again, with all due respect, The opponents of this project are going to walk to this place. They're going to get a few grocery items. They're going to, a lot of them are going to get gas right here. We've built many projects, you know, in the 40 years that we've developed in our beautiful community.
Chair Bray,
And-
Yes.
are there any other questions?
Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions for Mr. Asimi?
I have one more question. And it's been mentioned several times that there is a upcoming convenience store gas station at Friant and Copper. Is there anyone, either the applicant or from city staff, that can share with us, is it just a gas station? Is it a convenience store? Is it a liquor store? And who's going to own it?
I do know that
Commissioner Sodi Lane, is that a question for staff or is that a question for the applicant? I think
The applicant first, and if he doesn't know the answer, I'd like to hear from city staff, because honestly, I'm sorry, I can't remember us approving something at Friant and Copper unless it was over 3.5 years ago.
That might be a better question for staff.
Let me, if I may.
Let's refer that to staff because they'll know about the approval on the previous one.
Is that a Will question, Will Tuckett?
Yes, thank you, Chair Bray, Commission members. It is correct that a conditional use permit was approved for property at the immediate corner of Northeast Copper and Friant Avenues, which would include fueling stations and I also believe alcohol. The date of approval of that, I believe, was within the last year or so. There are permits currently with the Building and Safety Services Department, which have not yet been approved. But all indication is that that gas station is moving forward.
Thank you.
I can also add to that, as I said earlier, that's for commuter traffic. That's on the very edge, mainly for commuter traffic headed to the lake and to the casino.
Thank you, Mr.
It is on
Simi.
front. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the hearing now. So do any of the planning commissioners have questions or comments or a motion?
Yeah, I would like to thank you, and I thank everybody that on both sides that spoke. And I hear Darius, and I seem to go when he says that he's not going to do cigarettes and alcohol. I think that's a big community concern of not selling that. And I've heard him say several times that he was not planning on doing that in the near future or at all. He would not want that in his neighborhood. And I believe that. I'm going to be in support with a couple minor conditions, that we are not open 24 hours. The lighting would stay on 24 hours a day. And that's my position on it. I don't know how you guys feel, or we want to entertain a motion.
Is that a motion?
No, well, can I speak before we do make a motion too?
Sure, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, no, at first, I noticed a lot of these speakers are healthcare workers, and I first want to say thank you for all the effort that they've done, especially throughout this whole pandemic that we're experiencing. I understand the frustration and the significant reservation regarding the project, but ultimately, I encourage the opposition party to continue communication with Mr. Asimi throughout the build-out of this project. Granville has such a strong reputation throughout the Central Valley, and I feel that if you continue to stay in communication with Mr. Asimi, if the project turns out that it's not what it's projected to be, you can hold him accountable, because ultimately, his Granville company, it's going to be neighbors too. And, first thing as a business, you want to have strong corporate social responsibility. So I know that with Mr. Asimi, he wants to make sure that his reputation stays strong throughout the Central Valley. So I would encourage both sides, opposition party, local community, and Mr. Asimi to continue that transparency throughout this whole entire project itself.
Okay, thank you. So Commissioner Hardy, did you want to make a motion?
Yes. So my motion would be to be in support of the project, not open 24 hours. Those were several feedback that I heard. Lighting needs to stay on 24 hours a day. And I know it's not an issue right now, but Assemi did say that there is no alcohol sales. So my motion is to support the project, not open 24 hours a day, keep the lighting on. And one recommendation, it's not in my motion, but I've seen it happen at other market stores, is to maybe offer our local law enforcement. I heard the community talk a lot about speeding, driving, loitering, maybe offer our local law enforcement free coffee. It's not in my motion, but it would encourage police officers to come to your market and get a nice cup of coffee. But again, my motion is to my motion's on the table.
So Raj, is it okay for us to make a motion that with the indefinite, do we need to say what hours?
I would, I just would ask staff to provide any clarification about the timing that's available. And if not, it would be helpful, I think, for the conditions to set, you know, it can be open at the latest and then earliest opening.
Okay, so.
Thank you, Raj. Yes, Chair Bray, staff would very much appreciate if that motion will be entertained, that the commission does set limitations on the hours of operation definitively.
Okay, so Commissioner Hardy, do you have a suggestion on the hours that you want to put forth?
Would like feedback from the commission, but my first indication would be 1 p.m. to 5 a.m. closed, but I would like feedback.
1 a.m. Commissioner Hardy.
Yes.
Did you say 1 p.m.?
I'm sorry, 1 a.m. I apologize.
Raj, you raise your hand.
Oh, help me. So Commissioner Hardy has made a motion. So do we vote on that first before others are allowed to make a motion?
So there is a motion on the floor. There is no second. I'll just repeat the motion for clarity as I understand it. Commissioner Hardy, please correct me if I'm wrong. Commissioner Hardy made a motion to accept staff's recommendation to deny the appellant's appeal and uphold the approval, subject to the condition that the lighting at the development be on 24 hours a day, and that they not be open between the hours of 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. And there is no second. So we're waiting for a second, and if there isn't a second, another motion can be entertained by the chair.
Okay, so do we have a second for that motion? So I don't think so. So would someone else like to make another motion?
Well, I have a question for Raj.
Sure.
Is there any way we can put, say that they can't apply for a future liquor license at all? Is that a possibility?
So I think under the current municipal code that the ability to so liquor license are governed by CUPs.
Mm.
As long as the underlying zoning allows it as a use subject to CUP, this body cannot restrict it. There are other mechanisms. A change in zoning would be, one of those mechanisms that, if some zoned residential, you can't have alcohol uses there. But this is a commercial use, and one of the allowed uses subject to CUP is, being able to get a liquor license later down the road.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Since we don't have a second for Commissioner Hardy's motion, do we have another motion? Commissioner Sodi Lane.
So tonight has been very emotional for both sides, and I have an open mind. I'm a resident of Fresno for over 32 years. As I mentioned earlier, I don't live at Copper River, but I do live at Woodward Lake. And so I just want to thank everyone. the one thing that seems to resonate with me is that the applicant lives in Copper River and he's going to move the Granville headquarters into this area, and he and his leadership are going to frequent this market. And I have to believe, just based on the 30 years of community service and giving, that he's going to live up to his word, that he's not going to sell liquor and alcohol and cigarettes, and this is not going to be a convenience store. And so based on that, and then based on the 490 signatures of residents, and then based on District 6 and the District 6 Review Committee, which is under Gary Bredefeld, they all approved this on May the 18th, and the 10 Zoom meetings, that I would like to make a motion to support staff's recommendation.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. So can we take a roll call vote, please?
I saved it.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenzie,
Yes.
Commissioner Bang,
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
Commissioner Sodi Lane,
Commissioner Sodi Lane, you weren't audible.
Yes. Yeah.
yes, and Chair Bray.
Yes. Okay, so that passes. And you'll be glad to hear that item B has been continued to January 6th.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't do that, but it's a good thing. Do we have a report by the secretary? Okay, and we don't have any scheduled oral communications, or if there are any unscheduled communications, if you're a member of the public and would like to comment, please use the raise hand function on Zoom. If you're calling in, dial *9. Okay, so I don't see any hand raised. So I'm going to wish you all a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holiday, or however you like to say it. And we're all going to hope for a much better 2021. So Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Kathy, you've done an amazing job this year.